welcome back to the best division in football with your boys Awthentik and the Beard. The best television show not on TV. You know what it is, man. Welcome back to another episode, man. Week 12 recap. We got a lot of news on the line. Literally right before we went live on the show, we got breaking news that Daniel Jones is not supposed to get the start against the Miami Dolphins this upcoming week. Hurt himself on a run on the second play from scrimmage is what it seems. I talked about that on the Giant Overreaction on Monday. Shout out to Big Pat Sports who pulled up, got to chop it up with me, man. It's going to be an awesome show, man. We got a lot to talk about with 3 games that happened in the NFC East. First off, I want to start off real quickly. A somber note that happened across the NFL community. Rest in peace to former UCF running back Otis Anderson Jr., who was fatally shot by his father today. I mean, that's just devastating. His mother was also shot and hospitalized, man. Prayers go out to that whole family and anybody that is a friend of that community over there with UCF, man. Also wanted to send big shout out to the homie Nick DeWick one time. Nick DeWick was named first team offensive line from his high school in his division. Big shout out to homie. You know what it is, man. Giants Nation is in the building. The news of Otis Anderson Jr. kind of makes me think of this one Nas line I wanted to put down. It's from Nas's Like. It says, freedom or jail, a clip's inserted, same time a baby's born, the beginning and end. So perfect on on a day like today, because I want to send a big shout out to the homie Kid Blue, man. He got a birthday today, reached 24 years of age, man. Big shout out to the homie one time, man. But look, man, without further ado, let me bring in the strong side to my left side so we could really get to chopping it up about all this news in the NFC East. Where you at, brother? Left side.
Strong side.
How you living, man?
It's a party.
You know what it is,
Victory
brother.
Tuesday, man. Victory Tuesday.
Yeah, man, Victory Week is in full effect. I talked about that on Twitter, man. It's very rare that both of our teams actually get the W, man. I mean, they were both kind of ugly, but a win is a win is a win is a win is a win.
Very true. It was another wild week in the National Football League. I mean, there's nothing else really to say, but like, this is probably the most balanced the league has been in a long time. Like, there's just you think you know, but you have no idea. Like, it's like the opening, like, to Real World. Like, it's just like
I was trying to think what that was from. I'm like, where's that old bar from right there, yo?
Yeah, it's just crazy, man. It's just, you don't know who's gonna perform, and it's just, the games are so, like, they're not like how you could go through the numbers and the stats and you're like, this is how this team has performed, and like, they're going against a team that performs this way, and then it all gets thrown out the window. I mean, obviously there are some games that go according to script, like,
yeah, a lot of NFC East games, like how the map was, map quested by the Beard himself.
It was. I'll tell you, man. I was watching the that Raiders Cowboys Thanksgiving games were pretty interesting. I mean, the Cowboys Raiders game was probably the most intriguing of the 3. That Bills Saints game was just kind of brutal, and then the Detroit Lions finding a way to Detroit Lion by calling back-to-back timeouts. I mean,
yeah, they was looking like Joe Judge out there one time. Got to keep it funky. On
the
the opposite side, the Bears didn't do too well either with clock management and a whole bunch of other things, a slew of problems in that game. That I don't know if I can agree with you about the Thanksgiving Day games. I like the Cowboys Raiders. That was a good spark for sure. But with the Lions and the Bears, and then the Saints and the Bills, that game wasn't too as close as we expected that one to be.
Man, and I'll tell you, I had a Thanksgiving lineup on DraftKings that all I needed was Marquez Callaway to have a game, and it just didn't work out that way. And then, like, Josh Allen and them just started piling on at the end of the game, kind of just like completely changed a lot of things. But I mean, Lamar Jackson threw 4 interceptions. They still got the victory. Like, I don't know what's going on.
I think they said something like that has only happened in the NFL, like, on a handful of times or something like that. It was like 3 or 4 times where a quarterback has thrown 4 interceptions and actually still got the W.
And I absolutely loved his post game, like, right immediately after on the field. He was so livid with himself. It was just like, and you know how Lamar talk, you know what I'm saying? He talks like one of us, kind of. And it's just like, you could tell how genuine he was, like, just completely taking the blame for that game even being close, and it's just
That's
like
what the greats do. That's what the greats
that
do.
is exactly what the greats do. And then the Green Bay Rams game was pretty good too. You know, Cam Newton came out and just, I mean, I don't know what happened with Cam Newton. It was
Yeah, he struggled.
and the Colts Tampa Bay game was spectacular. I mean, that was like
Yeah, that was a good one. I thought the
Leonard
Colts were going to take
Fournette.
that game early on, man. But
Yeah.
you know, you can't ever count out Tom Brady and them Bucks, man. A lot of time was left on the clock. I want to say late third quarter. I was looking at that like, man, it's just too much time. I think the Bucks are going to come back and get this W, and that's what they did, man. Tom Brady,
And
GOAT,
then
44. I was explaining it to my girl today. I'm like, look, I'm like asking her, I'm like, how old is this family member? How old is this family member? She's like, yeah, I think he's 48. She's like 40, whatever. I'm like, yeah, I look at it like this. Tom Brady just a couple years younger than some of the oldest people we rock with, and he's out here playing football on the highest level, man. I mean, that dude is really getting it done. I'm telling you, 50. He gonna be the first one to get to 50.
Listen, I'm not one for these diets and all that stuff, but I'm about ready to try this TB12 stuff, man. Because
Yeah, man.
I
That
mean,
diet seemed right for the OGs.
it seems to be working, you know, pretty well. And it's just like, I mean, Leonard Fournette. Shout out to Leonard Fournette, 4 touchdowns. I mean, that guy got cut by the Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, and he has just proven that he can do it all. I mean, there was a lot of good football, a lot of interesting football, and then obviously Kirk Cousins lining up underneath the guard and not the center and having to waste
He did that.
timeout.
He did Willie Beeman did that too. Don't forget, Any Given Sunday. You know, when he was like on his third, fourth snap, he went to the guard and he was like, "Man, get off me, man, get off me." Beeman's like, "Oh God, it's moving too fast for me, coach."
But he looked more like Cap Rudy than Willie Beeman in that game. And
Yeah,
they
that's
ended up
facts.
losing Dalvin Cook, and then Deebo Samuel went out for an injury. DeAndre Swift is injured. I mean, listen, fantasy football, regular playoffs, like everything kind of, this is Thanksgiving. This is the week where you start to kind of see things. You start to see the picture of the playoffs kind of starting to take its path, and it's jumbled. I mean, I think
Feel
it's
that
like
weather
12.
getting a little brisky, you know. These guys who've been passing the ball all fall, weather
I was
looking
just about
all
to say,
nice, short
it's time-
sleeves.
It's time. It's my favorite time of the year because it's time to run the damn ball. You know what I'm saying?
These
Like,
roadmaps about to be fire. Hey, but
gonna
let's
be
get to
a-
this. Let's get to this chat, man. We got I already see them in the chat. They popping right now. They trying to get right to it. We got 3 games that we got to get to. So let's get a quick little shout out to the chat. You know, the fam is in the building. Day one is definitely in the building. So let's get this popping, man, and get into this show, man.
big shout out to the homie at the Cardinal Rule. If you guys aren't subscribed, make sure y'all subscribe to the Cardinal Rule. Dropping all that good Cardinal content.
Big
they were on a
facts.
bye week, so it's going to be interesting to see Kyler Murray coming back from that bye week. Jameson is in the building. What's going on, sir? Dropping some biceps right here. And
Yes, sir.
the one,
Yes, sir.
the only, Marjorie checking in as well, dropping the
Queen
biceps.
Marjorie
We
in the
appreciate
building.
all the biceps for sure.
What
Who
up?
else
What
we
up?
got in the building? Y'all had a good little conversation here, Marjorie and Jameson. Roman is in the building. What up, Roman? And says you can't make this up. Right when our schedule gets the easiest, we lose our one and only to a strained neck.
That's tough. That's
We
tough.
will definitely be talking about
Tough
that.
kid, though. He finished the game with that injury. Got to give him some kudos on that. He's a tough kid. I like that he did that. That shows a lot of leadership and a lot of guts to be out there when you just strain the neck on the second play of the game.
I mean, it's not like it was like the second quarter, the second half, second play.
Right.
Of the game. So
Second play of the game.
definitely facts on that. Big shout out to Sunday, always holding us down in the chat. We appreciate it for sure.
Big shout out to Sunday.
Who else we got in the building? Big shout out to the homie Lucas checking in all the way from Australia. Thank you,
Lucas.
sir, for joining us.
Appreciate
I think
you
I
pulling
saw
up, brother.
Edward Squires is in the building as well.
Yes,
My
sir.
man, no Mets, no Nets, no Jets. Says salute, Beard. Washington football team is looking okay.
I like that. 'Cause it's like, hey, salute,
That's
big homie.
great.
That outfit you rocking looking okay today.
Listen, I take okay over bad any day of the week.
I said that to Tainer the other day on Twitter.
Says solid run game. Kind of jealous. Don't worry, man. The run game will come. Saquon had a nice little outside.
Nice little break,
you know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
I called that
so,
too. I did call that. I don't know if y'all look at Twitter. You can check
Oh,
the timestamp.
it was literally like moments before too.
Yup, and somebody jumped in there and was like, "Oh man, here goes another trash take from Awthentik," and then there you go, Saquon Barkley.
Did they delete that part, their tweet?
Probably that part.
Big shout out to Juice Jones Creates.
Big shout out to Juice, man. Juice is the one I was telling y'all about a couple weeks ago, man, that we're going to be working on a documentary next year. Juice is a big advocate for the mental health space, man, doing a lot of things in the D.C. area. When you saw me with the Velvet Lounge hat just a couple weeks back, Juice Jones is responsible for all the merchandise coming out of Velvet Lounge. So big salute to the homie. We was texting right before I got on, man. He was like, this is the kind of week where I definitely got to tune in. So big shout out to Juice Jones, man.
Big
and he's a
shout
Giants
out to
fan.
Juice Jones. Oh, he's a Giants fan.
Yes, sir.
Still big shout out to Juice Jones. Edward Squire is my favorite GQ name on the block. What's going on, brother? Great to see you. Big shout out to Stan Albert, my beard, and Haitian OGs. Crazy Haitian OG. They said Lamar wouldn't be able to stay healthy. Now here we go with our quarterback hurt again on running plays. Another reason that shows he's not the
I don't just be talking because I got lips. You know what I'm saying? I don't just be talking because I got lips. We talked about this on the Giant Overreaction. You know, I talked about how 9 runs was just a little bit too much for my liking for Daniel Jones. And I even mentioned that on that second play, I thought that he was going to have a concussion because the hit that he took was just devastating. It's still in my notes from on Monday. And right before me and the Beard got on air, I talked about that play to him. I was like, man, I thought it was 100% that he, was going to have a concussion. And literally within minutes, that breaking news came in from Bleacher Report that Daniel Jones is going to be out Sunday versus the Miami Dolphins. Pretty interesting stuff here, man. So like I said, I don't just be talking because I got lips, man. You know what I'm saying?
We got to put that one on a shirt.
You like
Big
that,
shout
right?
out to Jeff Maldo, 76, throwing the biceps up in the building. We appreciate it. Lax 044 says, what's up, everyone? What is going on, Lax? It is great to see you, sir, as always. Shout out to the homie, Glock 30 in the building. What up, Glock?
Y'all know what it is. Shout out to Glock one time.
Jay Jean is in the building.
Yes, sir.
Benji Canody is in the building. What's
Benji
going
pulled up
on
me
brother?
on the Giant Overreaction too, man.
Yeah.
Yes,
It was
sir.
lit in the Giant Overreaction. Big shout out to Big Pat, too. And also, if you guys haven't seen the episode of Giant Overreaction, there is a link to that video in the description of this video. So as soon as we're done here,
out the team,
go ahead and
bro.
click on the link.
Shout out to team, man. I was talking with Big Pat about this. I told you I was going to mention this on air. Big Pat was like, yeah, so y'all got a whole team for Awthentik in the Beard, right? Y'all be shouting out the graphics department, the editing department. I had to break it down to Big Pat that that's just a big inside joke between me and the Beard that we hope people get. There is no graphics department. There is no editing department. You're looking at the department right now on your screen right now. Left side, strong side of the department right here.
He's the left side department, I'm the strong side department. And then we kind of have this umbrella of departments underneath each one of those departments.
Yeah, man. Yeah, shout out the editing department, man. Shout out the editing department.
Big shout out to Ash Money Records in
Big
the building. What up, Ash Money?
Go
Josh
sub to
Collins
Ash
is
Money,
in
man.
the
Y'all know what
building.
it is. Yes, sir. What up,
Who
Josh?
else we got in the building? Mr. Mini Guy is in the building.
DJ
What
was
up,
hurt when we
Mr.
played the
Mini
Miami
Guy?
Dolphins in 2019. Eli had to come back and save the day one time. Shout out Eli Manning. I
That
sent
was
the
an
tweet out.
interesting one.
I was saying
That was
I
a
miss
night
Eli.
Monday night game, right? Or Sunday night, Thursday night game? Wasn't it like a night game?
It definitely wasn't Thursday night. I know that. I think it might have been a Sunday night game. I can't remember. It kind of feels like it might have been a day game for real. I'm not too sure though.
Big shout out to Man Ray.
Man, Ray, what up,
In the
fam?
building.
That might be a new vibe. Definitely digging that profile picture, man. Welcome to the family, brother. If this is your first time here, I'm not too sure, man, but hit that subscribe button if you haven't already.
Big shout out to Kathinji Kanodi for the $10 super chat. Says, what up, fellas? Awthentik looks like we'll get to see how that offense looks with Glennon in there.
I asked for it. You shall receive. Free Mike Glennon. Y'all know what it is.
Free Mike Glennon. It's kind of interesting because, Daniel Jones hurts his neck, and then you bring in the neck. You know what I'm saying? So it's
hey, we need the neck off the bench one time, cuz.
Big shout out to Sabrina in the building. Appreciate you
what up,
stopping by, Sabrina.
How you
Anthony,
living, Sabrina?
the bluegrass picker, is here as well.
What's good,
Thank
G?
you
We got
for
that
joining
play-by-play
us, sir.
coming up real soon for you, Anthony.
Yeah.
Real soon, brother. Real soon.
Yeah. Vauxhall to the Bay.
Yes, sir. What up, Vauxhall?
Good to see you, sir. Good to see
I like
you, sir.
the Froggle Noggle.
Yeah.
I like that.
Here you go, man, Ray.
Ooh, neck. I like that. What is the saying in the NFL?
man.
Neck man up.
Neck man up.
I like that. I like
Big
that.
shout out to Drip Giants. Daniel Jones out for
Is
the
this
season.
true? Is this
potentially.
true? They did say he was week to week in the report that I saw, which didn't say that he was going to be back next week. This is really, really going to get interesting here in New York, for sure.
Especially since you guys are only one game out right now. And Marjorie says Glennon and Galladay have a connection. Let me tell you, Marjorie been on this one for a long time. Like, you know, she's the one that will give you who's warming up with who, what jerseys they're wearing, you know, that little pregame on the field insight. So Marjorie always tells us about how Kenny Galladay prefers warming up before pregames with Mike Glennon. So it will be
as soon as we
interesting
get
to
that
see
bag
how
over
that
here, the
goes.
Authentic and the Beard, you know, a lot of y'all moderators, you know, get ready to quit your day jobs because we're going to hire a few of y'all, especially the Marjories, the Sundays, the Words, the Laxes, you know what I'm saying? The squad, the
Big
gang, the
shout
day
out.
ones that have been here holding it down.
Big Pat's Sports Talk. If you guys aren't subscribed, big shout out to Big Pat. He was killing it on the Giant Overreaction. That was a great show. I enjoyed that one thoroughly. Who else we got? Well, a little neighborhood Giant love here.
A little giant vibes in the building.
Pat
What's up,
Johnson
Pat? How you
is
looking,
in the
fam?
building. And you got to always shout out our Cowboys supporters here in the building. Monique.
Day
2
one.
losses in a row, 3 out of 4.
It's getting tough over there. It's getting tough. It seems
getting
like
tough.
It's
It's
the,
not even
AFC
December
West,
yet.
I believe that has y'all number this year outside of the Los Angeles Chargers. Yeah, losing a lot of games over there to the West.
Tom's World says this is where having a second-string starter quarterback like Taysom Hill, Cam Newton, Joe Flacco, and not a quarterback like Glennon, who's a third string, making $600 to $800.
And that's been a problem with the New York Giants all year long. I forget what show that was that we extended for like 2 hours, literally just talking about how first stringers get paid versus how the backups are getting paid. You know, when you got a guy like, you know, Nate Solder or somebody like that you spending crazy bag on, and then the guy who comes in after him is not making a lot of money, that is a reason why you will expect the play to be such a drop-off, and maybe not so much in Nate Solder's case because he's been playing bad all year. But for a lot of guys around the league, you know, you got to spend them dollars accordingly, man, and I think a lot of players are just overpaid. The quarterback position is completely overvalued in a way, and just these guys making upwards of $40 million. You got wide receivers out here like Odell Beckham, Kenny Galladay making $74 million on 4-year contracts, and meanwhile, Authentic and the Beard out here just trying to get it how we can get it, you know, just trying to get it how we live. So I think that they got to find a way to address that. I totally agree on that, but I got big faith in Mike Glennon. Free Mike Glennon. I'm telling you, that boy about to come out here and show you that maybe he got a little something in the tank. We about to find out really what that Daniel Jones value is really about.
Somebody was talking earlier in the chat about Jake from State Farm, or excuse me, Jake from State From.
I like that.
Jake From,
like that.
You know, that guy can throw the football, man. So I'm kind of curious to see if that's true and where he stands in line, because, you know, like, you got to have a guy behind a guy behind a guy.
You know, shout out to Willie Beeman. He was the guy behind the guy. And then, you know,
listen,
a couple people got hurt.
Can anybody name the original second string quarterback in any given Sunday? Everybody know Cap Rooney. Everybody know Willie Beeman.
His name was
that
like
other guy?
Cospius or something like that. He had a crazy Italian last name from what I remember.
He was like a Jimmy G.
Yeah, like a Jimmy G kind of vibe. And he was like, Coach, I could get it done, man. I can get it done. He was like, nah, man, go sit your ass on that bench. We're about to put in Willie Beeman and get this thing steaming one time. I'm like, I want to watch that movie again. I watched it like 3 or 4 days ago. I want to watch it again. That's a good, tell you, the more and more I watch any given Sunday, I'm like, for a 1999 flick, that was when DVDs was like barely popping. That's a solid movie right there.
The football scenes are shot excellent in that movie.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
the night scenes, man, very dark lit. They look, that's fire. A lot of mess ups in that movie, though. You know, there are a lot of mess ups. Like when he talked about the dinner that he had with Al Pacino messing up his stomach, they messed up bad on that because he throws up before he goes to the house. So it's like he's on the field throwing up, and then he goes to eat the dinner with him or whatever, and then he throws up again, and they try to blame it on, like, you know, he's like, hey, you've been throwing up all these weeks because of the chili, and he's like, yeah, man, I ain't want to tell you, but he threw up before he had the chili. So maybe it was something else Willie Beeman was eating in his diet. I'm sure he wasn't on that Tom Brady diet.
No, we got another new name. Good to see you in here. Tasia. I'm going to go with Tasia.
Maybe Tasia. I know what Tasia
or
Tasia. Like that. Or Tasia. Could be Tasia. Yep.
Tasia Smith. Says, hello
Shout
there.
out
You
to
think
Smith
the
in the
Giants organization want to be bad until they are able to draft Arch Manning in 2027?
That's a good point. That's a good point. A lot of people been talking about that too on the conspiracy vibes. Like we just waiting for another Manning. They thought that Daniel Jones was going to be another Manning, adopted version, and that didn't work out. So I'm kind of done with the whole Manning experiment. Let's just go get ourselves a running quarterback. I really want a mobile quarterback in New York.
It's going to be interesting. Dan Big Blue is in the
Shout
building.
out Dan one
What's
time
going
in the building.
on? David's in the building. What's going on?
Hey, what up, David? How you living, fam?
Appreciate the love, Tasia, on the beard.
Beard
Thank you very
gang
much.
one time.
We appreciate it. Who else we got in the building? We got a bunch of new names in here. Max, 201. Let's be honest. The amount of points we score will be the same whether DJ plays or Glennon plays.
Ah, man. Unfortunately, that's going to say a lot more about Daniel Jones than it does, about Mike Glennon right now. And that's kind of my thinking. I think that, bringing in Mike Glennon, I don't know if he'll be able to take care of the ball as well as Daniel Jones has been doing this season, because Daniel Jones, the turnovers have definitely been limited from what we saw in his rookie campaign and his first year under the Jason Garrett system. So I'm not too sure about that. We did see Mike Glennon come in that one game. I think that was the Dallas Cowboys game, and he threw 2 picks in that game. So, I just want to see what he could do out here. Now we got a week of preparation with the starters. I think they'll place an emphasis on him turning the ball over. I think he's got a very similar arm to Daniel Jones. Definitely doesn't got the legs and the wheels that Daniel Jones has. But if there's not a significant drop-off in play, I think, we got to go into the quarterback market entering 2022 for sure.
Another new name, Anthony Mandancini. Do we even have a chance?
That's not. You ain't say that right.
Mandanisi.
Mandanisi. Yeah. Maybe
Mandanisi.
Mandanisi. I like that. It's got a good ring to it.
Says, do we even have a chance this week with Mike Glennon as a starter?
Yeah, I think so, man. This defense is playing lights out, man. We'll get to it when we get to that Giants game. It's going to be the middle recap that we do. We can talk about it a little bit more, but I think we'll be able to compete, man. This defense is definitely playing lights out right now, man. Xavier McKinney playing some of his best football, hoping to get Logan Ryan back in the mix. Darnay Holmes has been coming off that bench and playing that slot corner pretty decent, man. So I got faith in the defense right now. Offensively, man, we've been pretty terrible. We got to keep it real over here. We've been pretty terrible on offense.
Big shout out to the homie Lax044 for the $4.99 super chat. Says, them signing Fromm leads me to believe that Jones will be out a few weeks at least.
Man, that is just, I hate to say I told you so, but I told you so. Stop running the ball with this quarterback, man. He is not cut out to see everybody coming at him. He does not have that awareness and that type of agility that the best of the best running quarterbacks have. Daniel Jones is fast, but he's not mobile. Big difference.
Indeed. So big shout out to everybody who's joining us right now. New faces, old faces. As Awthentik always says, you guys are not fans. You guys are fam.
Big facts.
Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. We appreciate it. Shout out to everybody on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, anybody who's watching right now. We got a full house. We got a full show. I'm excited. Man. Oh, yeah. And before I forget, no Notre Dame slander in the chat, please. Today.
I was like, if we go this intro without my man talking about Notre Dame, something is not right here. No Notre Dame slander in the chat. Y'all know the Beard's a big Notre Dame fan. They lost their coach.
If the college football rankings come out, somebody please put that in the chat so we can see if who the top 4 are going into championship weekend. Conference championship weekend should be lit this weekend. I'm excited for that. So. Let's do it. Rock and roll.
Get it, man. All right, we're going to start off with this Raiders and Cowboys Thanksgiving Day special. Without star wide receivers CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper, the Cowboys looked flat for 3 quarters on Sunday versus the Las Vegas Raiders. The Cowboys tried to put up a fight late in the 4th quarter, but critical penalties, especially a 3rd down defensive pass interference call in overtime, did them in. It was the 4th defensive pass interference call on cornerback Anthony Brown, which set up a 29-yard field goal to win the game for the Raiders. The Raiders ended a 3-game losing streak by beating the Cowboys 36-33 on Thanksgiving Day. Now, we've been speaking about quarterbacks with this breaking news with Daniel Jones, and I wanted to bring attention to a quote that was from interim head coach Rich Bisaccia, I believe that's how you say that. He said, Derek is his biggest critic. He wants to do well all the time. He wants to do well all the time in practice. He wants to do well in walkthroughs. Again, he's been off sync a little bit. We've all been off sync. When it's good, it's complimentary. When it's bad, it's easy to just point at the one guy. He's the trigger guy. It's probably the most difficult position in all of sports to go out there and do that week in and week out. And today, he just looked like Derek Carr. I thought that was a great quote to say about your quarterback. One, talking about the bounce back game from Derek Carr, who has been struggling for a couple of weeks. And two, talking about the flaws from the quarterback position and how hard it is to be able to play at a high level week in and week out. This is accountability at its finest right here. And we're talking about from an interim head coach, not from the main head coach. So I got to send some kudos out to head coach Rich Bisaccia. Now, the one thing why I brought that up is because when you're a Giants fan and you see Joe Judge week in and week out give you the vanilla answers that we know fans just don't want to hear, I think seeing that from the Raiders head coach is awesome. Derek Carr was 24 of 39 for 379 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. The Raiders wide receivers combined for 307 yards receiving a week after combining for a season low of just 50 yards. It's the 5th best performance by their wide receiver core in franchise history, and I think it was on the back of Deshaun Jackson's big plays. He had 3 catches for 102 yards, including that 56-yard touchdown on the opening possession. And this ain't going to show up on the stat books, but he also drew 2 of those pass interference calls on the homie Brown for 47 yards, which sets up the Raiders to get great field position. I think this was a decent game from Dak Prescott, who turned it on just a little bit late in this game, 32 of 47 for 375 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, which for Dak Prescott is actually not a really good game. For other quarterbacks in the league, that's going to be a good game. And the Cowboys just never could get the running game really quite going. Zeke Elliott, 9 rushes for 25 yards. We know he's dealing with the knee injury. Me and the Beard talked about that going into this game when we did the previews. And Tony Pollard only had 10 rushes for 36 yards. He did have that big 100-yard kickoff return, which that was awesome. But the Cowboys right now, I talked about the Cowboys in the beginning of the year being a team that could win games in a multitude of ways. They could rely on the run, or they could just drop back with Dak Prescott and throw the ball. I think that formula only works against certain teams, and the rushing statistics definitely prove that. The Cowboys are 1-4 when they don't rush for 100-plus yards on the season right now. So, I think the Cowboys, they got to find a way to get Ezekiel Elliott healthy. They talked about maybe trying to rest him for a couple of weeks and then so that he can come back strong. This goes to show you that even a guy like Zeke Elliott, who's getting paid that major bag, he still needs that pairing with Tony Pollard, and things still got to be going right, but it also shows the value that he brings to that Dallas Cowboys offense. But what were your thoughts on this game, DeBeer?
Before we get to my thoughts, big shout out to Lax Ofofo for the $1.99 super chat. Says number 1 is Georgia, 2 is Michigan, 3 is Alabama, and 4 is Cincinnati. Appreciate you dropping those top 4. Look, Alabama has to play Georgia in the SEC championship. So if Alabama loses that game, they're out. So there's a way.
Is that a roadmap or is that a Hail Mary?
No, that's a roadmap. I got a roadmap with about 6-7 rows leading Notre Dame to the college football playoffs, but save that for later. Let's get it. So, listen, I told you guys that the Dallas Cowboys were going to lose this game, okay? Because the run game is so big for not even just the stopping the run, but, running the ball actually. And when you don't have CeeDee Lamb, you don't have Amari Cooper, you need those games where Zeke and Pollard combine for 200 yards. You know what I'm saying? 150 total combined yards, something along those lines. They ran the ball 20 times for 64 yards. Like, that's just, you're not going to be able to get done. And the way that, if you look on the team stats for both of these teams in this game, they were so evenly matched. And, I guess that goes to show you why, this game went to overtime and was won by a field goal. But the Raiders stuck with the run game. Josh Jacobs in this game had 25%. So he had in the season, he had only ran for 80 carries in the season. He had 28 carries in this game. It wasn't it reminded me of the Antonio Gibson game against Tampa Bay. It wasn't for the big yardage. He had 22 carries. Okay, 22 carries for 87 yards and a touchdown. It reminded me so much of that Washington game against Tampa Bay that Antonio Gibson had. They just kept trying to pound the ball. But, Dallas shot themselves in the foot. Both of these teams' penalties were absolutely absurd.
28
Dallas,
total, right?
28 total. Dallas had 14 penalties for 166 yards. The Raiders had 14 penalties for 110 yards. The big issue is that Dallas's penalties were coming at the most inopportune time.
Yeah.
And the other thing too
Extending
is that
drives for the Raiders. Real
extending
quickly,
drives for
what
the
was your
Raiders.
thoughts on the pass interference call in overtime? Did you like the call? Did you think it was the right call?
I think it was. I mean, listen, I come from the era. We come from the era where you got to turn around.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
couldn't
saying?
face guard. And they did remove that rule from the
They did
NFL rule
remove
books,
that.
which makes me look at that. Plays like that are the hardest to judge because you see that Brown literally like lets up on the play. He knows the ball's coming over his head, but he knows if he turns, then that might be actually a situation where the receiver catches it and goes. He like lets up, but there is a little bit of contact there. But the way that they've been calling pass interference lately, man, it's just it feels inconsistent.
It's very inconsistent. Very inconsistent. Yeah. Now, I wasn't necessarily like thought that was a bad call. I can see them making that call and understanding it, but this is the one that I had problems with. Was the roughing the passer one on Derek Carr.
Yeah, that was horrible. He was a runner on that play, too.
It's a bad call, right? I mean, it's not necessarily a bad call. That part of that penalty is bad. The hand, there's certain circumstances, like it needs to be rewritten to a circumstantial sort of situation where, like, I understand if you're running at the quarterback and you smack him right in the face.
Totally got to make that call.
Mm-hmm. I understand that. But in a situation like this, like, where he's falling into the player's hand, basically. Like you gotta you have to understand that sort of situation. So I did think that
Parsons. He came out after the game and he said, like, what else can I do? He's like, I don't know what else I could do to not get the penalty there. Derek Carr is stepping up in the pocket and turning into a runner and falling low to the ground, and his hand barely hit his helmet. I mean, that one was a garbage call. The pass interference in overtime, I think you got to look at the situation. And, the referees did go and huddle up and talk about it together. So maybe they were all, in agreement that was pass interference. And if that's the case, then so be it. But to me, it just, in that situation, it's hard to make a call like that literally sets them up on a third down conversion that they didn't get for a field goal to win the game. It's unfortunate that, for the Cowboys especially, who fought back to get back into this game.
And, I think the Cowboys were having trouble with the Raiders' speed because, a lot of those penalties were they were because of the speed that the Raiders have. And you saw Deshaun Jackson. Let's just give a big shout out to Deshaun Jackson, that first touchdown he had. I mean, I think that is – he made the right decision. I think the Raiders made the right decision. I think it's a great fit for him in that lineup because – and it's unfortunate that Waller got hurt, and he's probably going to be out for a couple of weeks. But we've seen Moreau step in the absence of Darren Waller before and make some plays. But, I mean, I just love having that combination of Renfrow in that middle, short, intermediate route area, and then the threat of Deshaun Jackson over top. I mean, after this game, Derek Carr took the lead in the National Football League. He has the most passing yards of anybody in the National Football League after 12 weeks right now. So, you got to get – this is something that is great for them. And they ran the ball. Dallas couldn't run the ball. Dallas shot themselves in the foot. Too many penalties. And the running the ball was so huge because of time of possession. Vegas, 39 minutes and 2 seconds. Dallas, 26 minutes and 30 seconds. Dak had a couple of beautiful passes to Michael Gallup on the sideline that kept them in this game. But then when you get to overtime, they called the penalty in overtime, right? But then you had the ball first.
Yeah, Cowboys did have the ball first and stalled out. Yep.
You have to listen. You got Dak Prescott. You get the ball first in your home stadium.
You gotta get it done
on Thanksgiving. You got to find a way to score there. You know what I'm saying? So you got to put a little bit of blame on the coaching staff and on the players for not being able to take advantage of getting the ball first in overtime. And then the way that whole overtime ended. You know what I'm saying? Like Oakland, Vegas was offsides on their first kick. They moved the ball back 5 yards. Now your kick has become a lot more difficult. We know how kickers be kicking. Even though Carlson had an MVP of kickers day, I think it was 5 of 5. You move them back 5 yards, and then the next play you jump off sides.
Yeah, it's just
not once but twice.
Yeah,
you give them a first down. At that point, they're just like, man, the way that this is going, I don't like the way that it's going. We're just going to kick a field goal on first down. End the game. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that the way that all ended, and then after the game, you had the big scuffle in the middle of the game where one of them get kicked off, get kicked. Two players get kicked out, one from each side, and then you had the altercation at the end of the game, where the dude, what's his name? Tristan Smith, is that his name? He punched the Raiders player, and now he's suspended for 2 games.
That's crazy.
The Cowboys. there's trouble brewing in
I
Dallas
don't even
right
know if
now.
it's brewing. It's here. It's here on
Is
the
it
plate.
overflowing from the
And
cup?
I think this is a good thing for them, about to be here in cold weather football, December approaching. Can you battle through this adversity that you're about to deal with? They're not going to have Mike McCarthy here for next week's game. He's going to be out with COVID. We know Zeke is dealing with that knee injury, man.
They
They're
might not
dealing with
have
banged
Cooper.
up wide receivers, might not have Cooper. This is where you're going to see what this team is really made of. And honestly, I felt like this offense played well enough to sneak out of this with a victory. And for everyone who likes to, harp on garbage time stats, when you look at this game, okay, it was 27-19 at the end of the third quarter. A lot of people would like to call that garbage time stats. Dak Prescott was like, I want to say he had like 200-plus yards just in the fourth quarter of this game. And the Raiders, the one thing that I got to look at here for the Raiders, they continuously are struggling on third down here. They came into this game with just 2 third downs converted in their previous 2 matchups, and then they were 3 of 13, I believe.
Both of them were
in
3
this
of
game
13, right? Dallas was 3
down.
of 13 also.
Right. So, I mean, going into – we're in November here, December about to pull up. You got to fix your third down problems here. And Greg Zuerlein, who, I gave him some kudos on one of our shows. I don't never talk about no kickers, but you got the missed extra point and you got the missed field goal in this game.
Yarder.
These are things that you're going to look back and be like, man, if we could have got one of those to go our way, maybe we come out of this game with a win. Dallas Cowboys is the #1 offense in the NFL right now. And we know that last week they had their problems, but they bounced back in a major way in this game, 437 total yards. But the Raiders had their highest total yardage of the season with 509 yards. And I think that's why they just eclipsed the Dallas Cowboys in this game.
That's that Cowboys defense that was a problem last year, even before Dak got hurt.
Yeah.
When Dak, they were having to try and score 40, 50 points to win games. That sort of defense came back. And that's why they call it a game of inches. It literally is a game of inches. I mean, you have the little things, they begin to add up, especially this time of the season, and 7 first downs for the Raiders off of penalties. 7.
That's awful. The Cowboys punted the ball 7 times in this game, too. That's a lot of stalled out drives, man. That's a lot of stalled out drives.
Listen, they're 7-4 now. Okay, I remember at one point, not too long ago, where we were like, Dallas is going to run away with this division,
which they still might. They
still might, but I mean,
their games
run
coming
away.
up. They got some winnable games, but I mean, they're definitely making things a little bit more interesting. Now with what's happening in the NFC East with the Washington football team getting a win. That definitely puts them in a better position here. But, I mean, I still think that the Dallas Cowboys the great part about this, though, is that their fate is in their hands. And as a Washington football team coach, player, fan, y'all fate is in y'all hands as well, too. Yep. You're going to have 2 big games coming up against divisional rivalries. So you got to get it done. It's on you.
It is. Big shout out to Lax044 for the $4.99 super chat. Says if the DB doesn't get his head around on an underthrown ball like that, they're going to call it pass interference 100%
That's not true, though, Lax. 3 years ago, yeah, I would totally agree with you. But now that they took out that face guarding rule, you see that happen a lot in the NFL. As long as you don't make contact, they're not calling it. And in that one, he did make contact. So, I kind of got to just agree with the call that happened there. He did make contact. But I think that it wasn't egregious enough for them to maybe throw the flag. I think it was one of those 50-50 calls. And, as a fan, you just don't want to see a game end like that at the end of it. But I think because the Cowboys got their shot in overtime first, I'm not too upset about it. They got a shot. They tried to go down there and score. They stalled out. You coming back on defense, and then you get a big pass interference call like that. And it really cost you the game. Penalties cost the Cowboys the game, and it almost cost the Raiders the game.
Yeah, and I think what I agree with on this statement is that's the difference between the old rule and this rule, or this way of calling pass interference. On the old rule, like, it was just, you literally just had to turn around. Now what's happening is it's like, they're saying that if the ball's underthrown, like, by the person not turning around, he's basically not allowing a path for the receiver to get to the ball, the underthrown ball, because basically he's turned around in his face. Yeah. So
and he's not making a play on the ball himself either. Yeah. He's just playing defense at that point. But I think a lot of quarterbacks could take advantage of that, man. Like, you see a guy running down the field and you get both numbers facing you as a defender, you could throw it right at him and just have your wide receiver work back towards the ball. As long as you're working back towards the ball and create some kind of contact there, you probably are going to get that call 100% of the time.
And what's interesting is that now you're in that range of like, those sort of 3-point shots trying to get the foul, kind of kicking the legs sort of situation.
Man, James Harden
that,
at quarterback now kind of vibes. Oh man, I don't want to see it, man. There's a lot of things in the NFL rule book that need to be cleaned up 100%, man, and that's definitely one of them.
Big shout out to Nick the Wick for the $1.99 super chat. Congratulations once again, brother, on making first team.
First team out here. My man NTW out here doing big things, man. Big salute to you, bro. Very happy, very proud of you, man. I hope y'all just, continue to keep doing what you do, man. Get them pancakes, man. Just keep piling them pancakes up. Stacks, my G.
Oh, big shout out to Online Big Blue Sports Entertainment. Says
That's
Dallas wanted to give the Giants a chance.
Yes, sir, man. Y'all know what it is, man. If you are a fan of Authentic and the Beard, go sub up to Online Big Blue Sports Entertainment, man. Bringing you some of the best New York Giants content, I swear to God, and some of the most realest takes out there on YouTube, man. That's my dude right there. That's Tim from Online Big Blue, man. Big shout out to Tim.
Monique says Tampa Bay is great at pulling a pass interference call. That's how he got the Bucs within field goal range in week 1.
Good point, Monique.
I'll tell you one thing. Monique don't never forget not one penalty from any Dallas Cowboys game. She knows she got a book of penalties over there.
Yeah, I got a book of penalties of games versus the Dallas Cowboys. I swear, Jerry be paying off them referees when y'all play the Giants. I don't know if y'all remember that fake field goal that one time when we thought we had a special teams mastermind in Joe Judge, and then you see the paint on the field came right back against the Dallas Cowboys, got our butt thrashed that game.
Big shout out to old man Rob. Good evening to you,
Rob?
sir.
What up, Rob?
Is that Rob? St. John's Rob?
I don't know. That's a good point. I don't know if he'd be old man Rob. I don't know. I'm not too sure. I don't know. That's a good question. If that's you, Rob, definitely let us know in the chat one time.
This game, man, it was exciting, and the Raiders did what they needed to do to win the game. They needed to stop the run. They needed to run the ball. They needed to control the clock. I mean, It got a little dicey. I mean, the road was definitely bumpy. But they came out with a win, man. And the Dallas Cowboys have now lost 2 in a row, 3 out of the last 4. And they're going to be playing the Saints this upcoming week, and we will touch base on that Thursday. And we will be live Thursday night at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here. And we'll definitely talk about that game and how if Kamara comes back healthy and that Kamara Ingram backfield, add in a little Taysom Hill, it might be a long night for them. They
talking about Taysom Hill might get the start too on Thursday night. We'll see how that goes, man. I saw
triple option. Here we come.
Yeah,
can you imagine that?
The Cowboys should be able to bounce back against the Saints, man. I think Saints played Washington pretty well earlier this year. Y'all played a pretty decent game against them, and then the Giants got one win against them with that late game heroics with 7 minutes left in the game, down 11. We end up getting a W. I think the Dallas Cowboys offense should be able to exploit that secondary over there. But we'll see, man. One thing I wanted to add about this game here with the Raiders and the Cowboys, the Raiders' third down offense was awful, but their third down defense definitely much improved. We know that on the year, they were one of the worst teams on defense on third down. They were allowing teams to convert the last 3 weeks at a 53.5 conversion rate, and they held the Dallas Cowboys to just 3 of 13. It's their best rate in a game since 2019. So big salute to their defense one time standing up.
Big shout out to another one of our Dallas Cowboy fans here. Big shout out to BB Jones. Here comes Dora the Explorer. I appreciate you stopping by, BB Jones. Listen, that's how you know it's all love here at Authentic and the Beard. Team loses a game, you still come, show up, enjoy it. You know what I'm saying?
Moving, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Big shout out to BB Jones coming through and joining us in the chat after a tough loss to the Loss.
Yeah. That's definitely a tough loss for the Dallas Cowboys, man, for sure. All right, let's get into the game. That the whole Giants Nation is in here. They want to talk about. And we can get to your Washington football team, man. Very very impressive performance last night, I must add, by your Washington football team, man. Big shout out to Ron Rivera. He was cursing coming off that field.
We almost let that one go.
Y'all did, man, but with due, there was some problems in the kicking department, we'll say. Definitely There's some problems in the kicking department, as it's been all year. Washington's on their 3rd kicker right now.
4th kicker.
4th kicker, huh?
Slides out. He's gone.
Hopkins.
Yeah. Now we got a new guy named Brian Johnson.
Man, Brian, that's pretty generic with the Brian Johnson vibes one time.
That sounds made up, man. Y'all couldn't go find like a Grammatica or, you know what I'm saying, like somebody who played soccer or something.
Yeah,
y'all got to go get a Brian Johnson.
Hey,
Sound
we'll see. Listen, at least it's not Blewett, because we knew that wasn't going to work. That one definitely wasn't going to work. Who calling me right now? You know I'm on Authentic and the Beard, the best television show, not on TV one time. Let's get to these Giants, man, one time. The New York Giants picked up their 4th win of the season as they hung on to a narrow victory over their rival Eagles, 13-7. This was a dirty, ugly, sloppy game from both teams, with the Giants doing just a bit less to lose the game, or maybe just enough to win, however you might want to put that. Anyone who watched the game probably has a pretty good idea of what happened. The Eagles made some terrible mistakes and miscues to consistently shoot themselves in the foot, while the Giants did just enough to keep their heads above water. The Giants defense intercepted Jalen Hurts 3 times, forced 4 turnovers overall, and held Philadelphia to a season-low 7 points. The Eagles, who had their 3rd straight game with over 200 yards rushing, had one more chance in the final minutes, down by 6, to try to take the lead. 2 drop passes from Jalen Reagor, and the Giants breathed a sigh of relief. Now, I know you saw my tweet today. I saw you like that tweet that I sent out to Jalen Reagor today, talking about, you know, we can't forget that these people are humans. I saw him in his post-game conference, man. He looked really down, you know, had the 2 drops. Accountability again. He took full accountability. He said, that's on me. That's something that's very uncharacteristic of me. I got to get better. I got to play better, and we're going to do better. My team has my support, and they're going to support me the same way. So, you know, I just wanted to send some kudos out to Jalen Reagor. I hope that he can get it together, but maybe after the Giants game, possibly, you know, maybe a Week 18 vibe, you really get it together, have a big game going to 2022 next season. Now, that Giants defense, we know, man, they've been balling out, man. They got at least 1 interception in 8 straight games, man. And Xavier Mckinney has been just straight balling out. He was named the NFL's highest graded safety by PFF for the 2nd time in his last 3 weeks played right now. He's got grades of 94.5 and 92.2 the last 2 weeks. Dude is definitely playing lights out football, man. The Giants, man, this offense, we just continue to struggle, man. And a lot of this, I'm going to just reiterate a couple of points that we talked about on the Giant overreaction with Big Pat. And we'll see where the road maps kind of go with the Beard as well, man. But the Giants only had 70 yards rushing. That just hurts the roadmap soul, man. That just hurts my soul for real, bro. It's like, how can I present any kind of roadmap for my team when we're only rushing for 70 yards? Saquon Barkley had the 32-yard run. So, I mean, outside of that, you're looking at a very pitiful day of rushing the ball. We only had 264 yards passing. We were 3 for 12 on 3rd down. The Eagles were 4 of 11, so they kind of helped us out in that department. And we went back to our first 3 weeks ways where we were 1 for 3 in the red zone, and that was the problem with the Giants. Everyone was thinking that Freddie Kitchens might come here this first week and have a better chance at fixing the Giants' red zone issues, but we still continue to struggle in the red zone. 3 of the Giants' 5 second-half drives, 3 of them were 3-and-outs. And that's just about as bad as it gets. We're going to get into the Washington-Seattle game. It kind of gets about that bad, maybe a little bit worse in that game. But to have 3 3-and-outs in the second half, and we're talking about pivotal situations where I felt like Daniel Jones and his offense could have put this game completely out of reach. They failed to put up points on the board. The turnovers was definitely the difference in this game, man. Our defense was solid throughout. The one thing I'll say about this defense is we had trouble stopping that run. This is the 3rd straight game, like I talked about in the intro, that the Eagles went over 200 yards rushing. And in this one, it was 208. Same old story for Daniel Jones with Freddie Kitchens calling the plays. Now, this is the crazy thing about this, right? And I want to talk about this. You see, so last night, and I'm going to jump to the Washington game just real quick to just talk about Russell Wilson, because he's been a guy that a lot of Giants fans have been talking about. Maybe we should try to bring Russell Wilson over here in a trade, which I'm a little bit like 50-50 about. I would totally love to have Russell Wilson on our team for sure, because I do feel like the quarterback is the one position on the field that can really change the dynamic of an offense completely. And when you look at Russell Wilson last night, let me just pull up his statistics here. He was, let me just scroll back just a little bit here. So he was 20 of 31 for 247 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, QBR 53.5. He was sacked 2 times on the day. Now, anybody watching that game knows that was a bad game from Russell Wilson. But look at those numbers. 20 of 31 for 247 yards and 2 touchdowns. Now, Daniel Jones, in a winning game, might I add, was 19 for 31, I believe, or 19 of 30 for 202 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, a QBR 47.2. He was sacked 1 time. And we got a lot of people in our community saying that that was a good game. There were people who were saying that this was a bounce-back game from Daniel Jones and he put the team on his shoulders to win the game. Where for me, looking at it from my lens, I'm looking at multiple missed opportunities late in this game to put this game away. And the one that stood out to me the most, that bothered me the most between play caller and quarterback was the last sequence, the last 3 downs that the Giants had. You got literally all you got to do is get a first down and the game is over. After already having 2 opportunities to put the game away, you just need 10 yards. And the Giants go 1-yard run to Saquon Barkley. They go a 1-yard loss from Daniel Jones. And then they run a play on 3rd down that was just the biggest head scratcher to me. Now, we know that the Eagles are going to be able to get the ball back if we don't convert, and the Giants got to keep the clock moving. That's important to make the Eagles either spend their last timeout or keep the clock moving. So you don't want to go out here and give the Eagles an extra timeout and throw the ball on 3rd down after running it twice. And the Giants run some play that just looked like, when it's like, it reminded me of Ben Roethlisberger, the beard. Like, when like Big Ben got like 7 seconds left in the game and it's 4th down for them, but they don't want to punt the ball. They don't want to get a ball back to the other team to give them an opportunity. So you just see Big Ben's, big old behind just running around as much as he can, and then he'll just throw it up in the sky for like a little Hail Mary or something just to try to drain the clock. 500 real quick, right? This last play reminded me of that because you make your quarterback scramble out. He takes like a 5-step drop. He's about 8 yards, 7 yards deep. And then when he decides, I'm not going to throw the ball, which I never thought that there was a chance of him throwing the ball, period, he literally just goes down on the ground, stays in bounds, and he loses 8 yards. Now, instead of being on our own 37-yard line and punting the ball with a punter who's been struggling all day, we now lost the 8 yards. Now we're on our own 29-yard line. That's a big difference in field position. The punter punts 32 yards, and now the Philadelphia Eagles got the ball starting at the 50. Now, if Jalen Reagor had any bit of hands in this game, the Giants would have lost this on the last play. And let's not forget, Devonta Smith is wide open down the sideline on that last play as well. I know our defense did stand up, got him to a 4th and 10. But these are the little things to me that speak volumes about a team that doesn't know how to win. And honestly, the karma didn't hit him in this game. But there were things about this game that made me say that the Giants, 1, they got lucky, and 2, they might have deserved to lose this game the way that they fell flat on offense. With your defense, giving 4 turnovers, and I know Lamar Jackson went out there and threw 4 interceptions on Sunday night, and he still got the win, but that's Lamar Jackson. Here against the Philadelphia Eagles, they give you 4 turnovers, and I wanted to bring something up here on the screen, too, to talk about the Philadelphia Eagles drives. Hopefully we don't get no monetization strikes for this one. Shout out to Chris Sims and Mike Floria for bringing this stat up on their channel as well. Look at these drives from the Philadelphia Eagles. You had a 3-play drive and a punt, a 10-play drive that ends in an interception, a 3-play drive, punt. So that's 2 3-and-outs already right there. A 15-play drive, 92 yards, interception. 5 plays, turnover on downs. 1 play for an interception. 10 plays for a touchdown. It's their best drive of the day, 66 yards. Then you got a punt after 6 plays, a fumble after 4 plays, and you got a turnover on downs to end the game after 8 plays. So you got punt, interception, turnover, interception, touchdown, punt, fumble, turnover. And they still lost that game by 6 points. You cannot tell me that the Giants are not a bad team right now. It's tough. And now we're talking about going into next week or this week against the Miami Dolphins with our starting quarterback on the bench, who are on a roll, 4-game winning streak right now. On the back of their running game, Myles Gaskins is doing some things right now in that backfield. And that's going to be a really tough game. And I think we're going to see if a backup quarterback can maybe bring some life to this offense. A couple of weeks ago, maybe not even a couple of weeks ago, maybe about a week ago, I said free Mike Glennon. I want to see what Mike Glennon does with some time to prepare with the starters, just to gauge where Daniel Jones is in this offense. For our offense to go out here and only put up 13 points. They had 4 turnovers. We only got 3 points off 4 turnovers. That is pitiful right now. It's hard for me to have my quote-unquote victory week in a game like that.
Look, they all gotta go, man. I'm like, I mean, listen, yes, the players play the game, and I'm not usually one of those guys, the fire them all. But I mean, this has become a pattern. This has become a thing, right? It's not working. I mean,
not working.
and listen, this is part of the business. Quarterbacks are going to be scapegoats. Coaches are going to be scapegoats. You can't, like I get it all the time with Washington football fans. 3 weeks ago, they were ready to take Ron Rivera and pack his bags for him.
Yep.
Now it's like, oh my God,
and Del Rio.
Again.
I remember them talking about that too.
But it's like, at least you gotta see some changes made. You see some improvements, at least a little bit. But with it just, the Giants just seem lifeless. That's what it is to me.
Especially on offense, man, with that defense playing lights out, man.
Yeah, the defense has improved drastically.
Yep.
Now, the run defense has been a problem still. I mean, and the Eagles, when I was watching the game, I felt like, why aren't they running the ball? Why aren't they running the ball? You know what I'm saying? Big shout out to Vahal to the Bay for the $2 super chat. Says Pickett Willis, 2022.
That might be the vibes. I've been keeping my eye on Malik Willis. Shout out to Tim from Online Big Blue. He's a big supporter of Malik Willis. And all the games I've tuned into, though, Malik Willis has not had great games. So I'm waiting to tune into one, where I can see a really, really good game. Struggled last week against Army.
He's a project.
He's definitely a project. But I feel like he needs the NFL coaching style. He needs that, to become a really great quarterback. But it's no telling.
It's liberty,
really no
bro.
telling.
That's the other thing, man. It's liberty, man.
Yeah,
it ain't the SEC.
We saw Carson Wentz coming out of small. We've seen people come out of small schools and ball out.
Yeah, of course. You have a few. You have Carson Wentz, Joe Flacco, Jimmy Garoppolo. That's about it, I think. I think I'm missing. Well, Trey Lance, we'll see how he does.
Yeah, we'll see. Once Trey Lance actually gets to get on the field, we'll see what he gets to do. Which doesn't. I don't know what the San Francisco 49ers are going to do at quarterback here at the end of the season because, Garoppolo's supposed to be a free agent here. And he's another candidate that a lot of New York Giants fans have been talking about too. And they don't want to have a stopgap quarterback like, Jimmy Garoppolo, which I don't really like Jimmy Garoppolo coming to the New York Giants either. But for me, it's all about the eye test, bro. Malik Willis in the pocket he's a beast. He makes people miss a lot in the pocket. With him, the problem is getting the ball down the field, and there's not a lot of good wide receiver talent over there at Liberty for sure.
Listen, did you see the recent? If like the draft or the season were to end today, the draft it would be Jets, Giants, Eagles.
Yeah, those three teams would have 6 of the top 10 picks right now. The Jets would have back-to-back picks. The Giants would have the next back-to-back picks, and then the Eagles would round it out at 9 and 10.
It's kind of crazy, but
it's going to be like that too. It's going to be close to that.
And Lax says it like I don't know about picking up when you're in a situation like the Giants are in, man. I don't know about picking a project quarterback with a top 10 pick. It's like with the 49ers, it's a little bit different because they're a little bit more built to win in the moment right now and have a little bit more leadway.
Yeah.
As with a quarterback like Trey Lance, where like the Giants, New York media, the fan base, and just the recent history of losing after being winning Super Bowls, like it's a bit different, But and Xavier Mckinney, I did want to touch base on Xavier McKinney because I was a huge Xavier McKinney fan coming out, and I think that you're finally being able to see the type of playmaker that he can be. I love the way that he plays. He was all over the field too, not just the interception, but he was all over the field. He had a
Yeah, the
great
breakup that he
game.
had on the crossing route across the middle was just like, I mean, saving on a third down. It's just a great play, great instincts too. And that's the thing about Xavier McKinney. I think what's, year two now, you're seeing him rely on his instincts a little bit more rather than playing in his mind and just trying to, make the right play and be in position to make the right play. Right now, you've seen the maturation of Xavier McKinney, man. He's balling out, ball hawk. I love it. If you could pair him with a strong safety who could like lay people down, bro, that secondary would be crazy because that's the one thing I don't like about Xavier McKinney is the tackling that needs to get better going into year three. But he's a decent run stopper. He's not terrible at stopping the run, but you do see
I
him
want to
kind
say
of.
he was. I want to say he didn't he lead you guys in tackles this week.
I'm not sure,
Also,
but that's never a good thing when your safety leads in tackles either.
well, I mean, they did rush for 208 yards on 33 carries. Stan says, but Beard, my question is, when do you take that chance on a project so he doesn't go somewhere else and ball out?
Oh, because
I mean,
you'll be so upset if you see one
yeah,
of these
of
quarterbacks
course.
go to another team and completely ball out in the first 2 years, and here we are sitting with Daniel Jones still. Giants fans, then
Yeah,
they'll know.
listen, I understand that perspective, right? But do you know you will drive yourself insane on the wouldas, shouldas, and couldas, right? Like, I mean, Justin Herbert is a prime example of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's plenty of teams that are kicking themselves or not kicking themselves, but their fan bases think that their teams should be kicking themselves because they didn't draft Justin Herbert.
Yeah,
Like
Josh
it's
Allen
just
for sure like that too.
yeah. And I mean, Josh Allen, like he wasn't even offered a scholarship coming out of high school. Like
Yeah.
that dude like played on a high school in like a farmland in California. It was like 1,000 people in the town, and
Hey, it
then
ain't where you from, it's where you at, bro. And you see
and
that
then
man,
he
he's
goes to
playing like
then
a
he
first
goes to
round talent.
community college, right? And then you see his mechanics back then. I mean, it was horrible, but he had something natural,
Yeah.
And then he went to Wyoming, and I liked Josh Allen purely because of his arm strength, and I thought that everything, he had that natural ability. Everything else you can kind of, if you're a good student of the game, you can be taught. You can be corrected.
People get too caught up in that like quintessential quarterback, like what you saw in like unnecessary roughness. That whole Dan
that
Marino
doesn't
kind of
exist
style,
anymore.
right?
It
And then
doesn't
you allow
exist anymore.
you allow the big arm talent kind of quarterback who can throw the ball sharp. Tom Brady's still doing that at a high level though, by the way. But you allow
but he's Tom Brady.
He's Tom Brady. But you allow these quarterbacks to kind of like blind you with how good arm strength they have by not paying attention to the little nuances that a guy like Taylor Heineke has in the pocket. Taylor Heineke's probably top 5 right now with pocket presence and pocket maneuver. He's probably top 5. And then you see a guy like Daniel Jones in the pocket looking like he got 2 left feet, can't move, can't do nothing. If the offensive line don't block it straight up, then he's not going to get it done.
It's interesting how that works, how that goes.
Go get the athletes, man. Go get the guys who are playmakers. That's how I'm looking at the new day and age in the NFL right now. If you make plays in college, bring them in.
That's how I look at Jalen Hurts. And that's why I think I don't understand why I know some people are like, well, Jalen Hurts can't throw the football. That's not true. He can throw the football. He just needs to work on it. He's not there
better
yet.
runner. He's a better runner than he is a passer. But that's okay.
Yeah, but he can be. I mean, it's not like he can't make the throws. He just needs to work a little bit on, his timing, his decision making, things like that. If you look at his stats right next to Lamar Jackson's through the same amount of games that Jalen Hurts is through right now, they are literally identical.
Yeah, but the thing about Lamar Jackson was it was a slow start for Lamar. That was a slow start for him. Throwing the ball especially.
But why? That's what I'm saying is that it can't. Maybe this is a slow start for Jalen Hurts. Like he can turn the corner just like how Lamar Jackson turned the corner.
That kind of thinking is the same thing of thinking that Daniel Jones was going to turn into Eli Manning.
But
you know what I'm saying?
But I don't. I mean, for me, I see Jalen Hurts. I mean, I see Lamar Jackson in Jalen Hurts.
I don't. I see a much more dynamic, electric player in Lamar Jackson, even just running, right? But then when you talk about the arm strength and the arm talent, Lamar Jackson just got that. The throw has zip on it, whereas Jalen Hurts he don't quite got that yet. And if I had to say today, if Jalen Hurts is going to become an elite passer in this league, I will bank on no. But this is my point that I'm saying. You don't have to be an elite passer to be a good quarterback in the NFL.
You don't.
You can
Not
as
in
long as
today's
there's-
NFL.
If you look at this game against the Giants, the only reason why the Eagles lost is because their play caller got away from their bread and butter. Literally. All he had to do was keep running the ball with Jalen Hurts. The Giants couldn't stop it all day long.
No,
he only
the
had like
RPO
9 or
was
10
crazy.
carries. You know, and he
Yeah.
had 70, what do you have, 77 yards on like 9 carries or something like that?
I think it was 8 carries for 77 yards.
Yeah, they last week they gave him 16 carries. I would and it here's the crazy part about their whole game plan. It's not like they came out the gates first quarter trying to run the ball on the Giants defense. They thought in their minds that they were going to be able to pass on this defense from down 1.
That's why in the beginning of the game I was like, why aren't they running the ball?
Made
And then
no
when you
sense.
look at the box score, you're like, they ran the ball 33 times. I'm like, when?
Right.
When did they run 33 times? You know, and a lot of that came in that third, fourth quarter. I mean, there's a couple of those drives where if Jalen Hurts doesn't turn the ball over, if you just give him 2 interceptions, they win this game. The worst one was the one right before halftime.
Oh, my God. And the crazy part is, you know, it was the last play of the half. I'm glad you brought that back up because to me, that speaks volumes on the coach again. You got to think about this. You're literally coming off the sidelines. They're all talking about this play that's about to happen.
Don't
okay?
throw an interception.
Don't throw an interception. That's what you can't tell them. You got to tell them this. You got 8 seconds, bro. Do not waste this 8 seconds and let us come away from this situation with no points. When you get that 3-second clock in your mind, if you ain't got nothing, throw it out the back of the end zone. And then that way we'll at least get the 3 points. And now you're looking at a Philadelphia Eagles team that instead of driving, trying to put up 7 to win the game, a field goal would have tied it. All they had to do was take that 3. So to me, yeah, it does speak volumes about the quarterback too, because as a quarterback, you also got to have your head on a swivel and know what's up. But it also tells me that the coach did not tell him coming out of that timeout or whatever it was when they were on the sideline talking about it, hey, bro, we got 8 seconds. I tweeted about it right before it happened. You got 8 seconds. I was like, what do you dial up here? They had no timeouts. So you got to stress the fact here that, one, you cannot take a sack. Do not pull like a Teddy Bridgewater or a Ben Roethlisberger type move here, or sometimes a Josh Allen move. He liked to do that sometimes too on third down, critical, and take a sack. Get rid of the ball. If you don't see it within a second, throw it away. You can see Jalen Hurts' mind thinking out there. The first 3 seconds goes by, he's like, I ain't got nobody. The defensive end off his right side starts to come down on him. He made a move. As soon as you make the move, you done. Throw the ball away. It's over. Instead, they go away from the half. And I think the crazy part was, were the Eagles getting the ball at the half too? I think they were getting the ball at the half. Can't remember if not. But it's like you can't make that kind of play there. You just can't make that kind of play there.
And then you got to think about like this too. The way that that offense started maneuvering for the Eagles late third quarter, fourth quarter, right? They were on the RPO where Hurts was slicing and dicing at like 8 to 11 yards every time he kept the ball and ran, right? He was killing it there. And then Boston Scott fumbled. That was a killer because they were driving.
That was major.
They were driving. That was a huge play.
And he got them back in the game. Boston Scott.
He did. And I told you.
He was running tough.
Boston Scott loves playing the Giants, man. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what it is.
You did tell me, but I did think about you when he fumbled the ball. And I thought about you when they called back his touchdown in the third quarter. You remember when he had that beautiful run and they called it back on him and they didn't end up scoring a touchdown there.
Man, he scored 1 touchdown, right? That was their 1 touchdown with Boston Scott. Yeah, he was their only touchdown that they scored was him. And it's just like, I don't know. And then the Jalen Reagor drops. I mean, it wasn't just it was 3 drops, and it's unfortunate because, and like you said, and I thought that it was important that we do remember that these players are human beings, right? And nobody's perfect. People are going to make mistakes. I mean, you saw AJ Green, for Christ's sakes, didn't even know what the play was in that game, and they lost the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was critical, and it's just like, but I mean, like those, there's so many of those in this game. The fact that the Giants got away with the victory is still kind of mind blowing, to be perfectly honest with you.
It really is.
And what kills me too is, after Saquon breaks that run, I'm thinking they're going to feed him the rock after that because I feel like so much of Saquon is rhythm. And it's like when he gets that first carry, like, okay, now it's time. You got to start feeding him the rock. And it's almost like both of these teams gave up on on the run just so much. And this right here, I feel like this is what we talk about when we talk about the Eagles every single week.
Yeah.
Without Jalen Hurts, the Eagles might not win a football game.
They don't have
Let's
none.
be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
And
And
then
I
the
know a
fact
lot of
that
Giants fans wanted to run with the fact that Daniel Jones had a better game than Jalen Hurts, and Jalen Hurts turned the ball over so much that
it was Jalen
I
Hurts'
even saw
worst
people
game.
in streams saying that makes Daniel Jones a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts and all that. I got to go with what I've seen throughout the year. And this game plan from Sirianni, I'm sorry, it just did not set up Jalen Hurts consistently to be able to, make these plays in this game to be the game changer that we know he is, to be honest. And even still, you talking 4 turnovers later, he's still driving his team down the field. I don't know if you remember the 4th down that they went for on the first drive coming out of the third quarter. He looked over to the sidelines when they didn't convert on 3rd down, and he was like, no, we about to go for this. You're not getting us off the field. Sirianni just looked over and was like, all right, I guess he's taking over. They didn't get the 4th down conversion, but still, for me, that kind of confidence in your quarterback, that kind of demeanor is what I'm talking about. Those are the kind of guys that are going to win you games in this league, even when they're ugly. The Lamar Jacksons, even a guy like Jalen Hurts, who is, this was his 16th game, I believe, so now he's finally got a season under his belt. With both these quarterbacks in this game, I think we know exactly what we got. In Jalen Hurts, we know we got a guy that needs to work in the offseason on throwing the ball, mechanics, timing, all of that stuff. Everything that has to do with throwing the ball, Hurts needs work. Daniel Jones, I don't know what they're going to be able to do to be able to get this kid to scan the field faster because he's just missing throws left and right. You look at the throw to Galladay, it's a short fade route that falls underneath the defender. You got to be able to put those up high and away. The crossing route, he hits him on the back shoulder. He had one good throw all day long, and that was, for me, the out route to Evan Ingram on the sideline, which is a 5-yard route that even kids in high school can throw well at times. So, for me, Daniel Jones, the evaluation period for me is over with him. I'm not sold. Yeah, you can win games with an average quarterback, but I'm just not sold on Daniel Jones. He, as a lot of people have been saying as of late, he's not the problem, but he's also not the solution. So for me, I would like to bring in a quarterback in the offseason and see how this offense can start to move because the one common denominator here has been Daniel Jones for the past 2.5 seasons, and this offense has not looked good since he's been in there. I don't care if people want to go back to 2019. 2019 was ugly, and I didn't have fun in 2019. 2018, I had some fun. Odell Beckham was throwing some touchdowns here. Saquon Barkley catching some stuff out the backfield. Eli Manning had 4,200 yards, 21 touchdowns. Things started to look like they were going to get a little better. And that game against the Bucs in Daniel Jones' rookie year is literally the one thing that we're still hanging our hats on of why we still got hope for this quarterback. But for me, I'm not saying that there's no chance that Daniel Jones is going to be a good quarterback for the New York Giants moving forward. But right now, if I just got to make a call on it with my gut, it's not looking good for the kid.
I mean, there's nothing else that you can really say. That's the facts. It's unfortunate, and people can sit here and say, well, the once again, the wouldas, the shouldas, the couldas, the ifs, ands, or buts. You know what I'm saying? Like, but what if this? But what if that? And he doesn't have this, and he doesn't have this. But listen, that's part of football. If every quarterback had an offensive line, then you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not how
there'd be a lot more quarterbacks succeeding in the NFL. And shout out to No Mets, No Nets, No Jets right here. He says, can't we say the same about the Giants coaching, especially on that last play? Coaching didn't put the offense in the best position to win.
100% you could say that.
100%. And that's why I started that whole segment by saying Freddie Kitchens and Daniel Jones.
Why don't they just run the ball there? I don't understand that. If your whole thing is not to throw the ball,
right, and keep the clock moving, why not just run it? And then if you're gonna try to throw
run a screen,
why not just be aggressive on first down or second down? Because you only end up draining about 19 seconds off the clock in that whole sequence anyway. Because the Eagles got 3 timeouts, so why not for me, it's like, why not just take the risk on first down and get 6 yards on the throw, 8 yards on the throw, or maybe get the first down on the throw? Who knows? Instead, you run the ball on first and second down, and then you kind of have this play on third down that really makes no sense if you ask me. But I'm not an offensive coordinator in the NFL. I'm just looking at this from my fan eye, to be honest. And I'm like, if you're going to try to throw it, just throw it. Don't throw it on third down. Throw it on first or second down. And then if you don't get it, now you're looking at 2nd and 10. Okay, run it twice. Let the Eagles come back.
Exactly. Then you run it twice.
They come back with a timeout, and you still give them just a minute. But we gave the Eagles the ball back with a 1:11 left on the clock at the 50-yard line pretty much. They were on their own 49, I think, or their own 48.
Hey, I know, listen, I say this as a Washington football fan who experienced it not just last night, but I feel like every time I watch the game. I know deep down inside of every single New York Giants fan's heart and soul, at that point, you thought you were going to lose the game.
Definitely. I was looking at Bad Dog's stream because Entertainer was at the game. So Bad Dog was doing their normal stream by himself. Bad Dog lost his mind during that sequence of plays. He lost his mind, and he just started screaming, and I was like, yo, I get it, because it's the same, especially against the Eagles, man. We've seen stuff like that go down against the Eagles with the Giants so many times. This is only our second win of like the last 11, I think, or last 10 games versus the Eagles. So, this is the same story we've seen a bunch of times. And I'm looking at that like, this is going to cost us the game. You give them the ball at the 50 with 1:11 left after all those opportunities Jalen Hurts had in all the first three quarters and most of the fourth quarter, you're going to give him another opportunity from the 48. It made no sense to me. And nobody in the media was talking about it. I don't even think any of the beat writers asked them about the last sequence of plays.
Okay, the worst part about it was, I don't know, because I know how you got a lot of stuff going on at the same time with, like, with listening and watching, right?
Yeah.
But at the broadcast, I don't know, I'm pretty sure it was the broadcast of the game. If it wasn't, it was like one of the after the games when they do on Fox when they run through the highlights and everything, right? They were praising him. They were like, "Oh, Daniel Jones does a smart thing there, and he goes down and does it and keeps the clock
It was
running."
on the broadcast. It was on the main broadcast. Yo, okay, and maybe it's because Jalen Hurts had such a bonehead play to finish out the first half. They're looking at that like something to say to go against that, kind of like, look at that smart play right there. By Daniel Jones, it's a heads-up play. I'll give him that. But by the play calling from Freddie Kitchens and Joe Judge, it's silly. It's completely silly. I don't know why you run it on first and second, and then on third down you go, hey, let's give him an option to throw the ball, and then if he doesn't have it, we'll just let him fall back 8 yards, lose 8 yards, and go down.
And then how far was his punt after that?
32 yards.
32 yards.
Yeah. And shout out to E. Suds one time in the building. He said, truth is true, all this, and we still won, though. That's the facts. And I think that says a lot about both these teams. The Eagles were coming in flying super high, coming in 2 weeks of great football, ran the ball 60-40% as far as run-to-pass ratio. They looked like they were on the cusp of being a good team. We couldn't say the same thing about the New York Giants, but the New York Giants had won one of 2 games, I believe, with the bye between it or the bye before it. So it's like you're looking at 2 teams on the up a little bit. And this game, to me, just showed that, like, both these teams, they really don't deserve to be in the playoffs. I hope that the Giants can find a way to get into the playoffs, but that's an ugly, ugly game. And when we showed the graphic that talked about the Eagles' possessions, let's look at it one more time. Punt, interception, turnover on downs, interception, touchdown, punt, fumble, turnover on downs, and you still in the game. 4 turnovers later, you still in the game. It really makes no sense. And I wanted to touch on just the playoff scenario going in to week 13 here, because now that Washington got a win, they're sitting in the 7th seed right now. Look at this. Washington football team was sitting at 2-6 before their bye. And now look at them. They're sitting at 5-6, and they have a 7th seed right now. If the playoffs were to end today, the Washington football team would have the 7th seed, and they would be playing, I believe, the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau Field.
We've beaten 3 teams. The 3-game winning streak has come against 3 teams that are currently in the playoffs right now also, or in the playoffs.
Well, not the Seahawks.
Oh, yeah, I guess you're right.
Not the Seahawks, but you did beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tom Brady, and you beat the Carolina Panthers with Cam Newton, which looked like a, storybook style of thing that he was going to get the win against y'all. He played a really good game, but unfortunately for the Carolina Panthers, they come out with the L in that one.
I mean,
but the Bears, listen, the Giants and the Bears right now own the 5th and the 6th pick, but they're the last 2 teams in the hunt.
And they're only 1 game out of the playoffs. Spots.
That's ridiculous. Look, I tweeted this out earlier. I said, only on Giants Twitter or Giants YouTube will you see people doing mock drafts, and the Giants only have 4 wins but are 1 game out from being in the playoffs. It's kind of ridiculous how bad the NFC is at this particular moment right now in the season heading into week 13.
And listen, I love a good mock draft as much as the next Joe, right? But if you're not the Detroit Lions, the New York Jets, or the Houston Texans, you should not be doing mock drafts in week 12 of the NFL season.
I mean, do what you want because, look, the more mock drafts y'all do, the less mock drafts I'm doing. Because I don't do we here at Authentic and the Beard, we haven't done one mock draft on air ever. Because so many people do mock drafts. You get like 500 mock drafts from just all the different content creators across the board that I almost feel like I'm just lost in this whole bazaar of just like mock drafts. So for me, it's like, yeah, there's 5 weeks left in the season. So it is getting to that point. How far is this Bears pick going to fall for the New York Giants from 5 to what, maybe 10 maximum? We're going to have another top 10 pick for damn sure this year, at least one of them. And we're hoping that the New York Giants can make a run here, maybe try to sneak our way into the playoffs or at least play a meaningful football game the last week of the season against the Washington football team.
That's all I want.
That's all I want. We asked that every year. Last year, we got it
100%. We got it, and then the Eagles ruined it for all parties involved.
Yeah, we ain't really get it. I mean, they kind of.
What you mean you didn't really get it? It was a winner. It was a winner go home for everybody.
Yeah, it was still 6 wins.
Except for the Eagles.
6 wins for the Dallas Cowboys, and they needed a ton of help to get into. The Cowboys needed a ton of help to get into the playoffs. I think they would have needed y'all to lose the last 2 games of the year, including that last game to the Eagles, and then they would have had to beat the Giants. The Giants ended up beating them, so the Cowboys were out by 4 o'clock in the afternoon. The Cowboys were done. And then we need the Philadelphia Eagles to actually beat the Washington football team, and we know how that goes. As Giants fans, we know how the story goes. We can't rely on the Philadelphia Eagles to get anything done for us except steal your number 10 draft pick. And we could have had Devonta Smith if it wasn't for that. But shout out Kadarius Toney and the traded pick. I thought that Gettleman and Joe Judge did a fantastic job with that. And I just want it to be one of those real end of season games. Night game flexed because it's such an important game. Giants versus Washington football team for all the marbles.
The Washington game was flexed last week, but yeah, Washington versus New York flexed
or last
Sunday night game for the last wild card spot / division.
It'd be amazing. I ain't banking on it. I told people a couple episodes back, I ain't speaking about the playoffs till we get to about week 13. We're here. We're here at week 13. We're entering week 13 here. We could talk a little bit about it, but now we're talking about the Giants entering this game against the Miami Dolphins with Mike Glennon at quarterback. Dolphins are on fire. I do think that's more of a reason why the Giants could probably go down there and win this game, too. I mean, they're coming off 4 straight wins. We could probably break that streak, I think. The Miami Dolphins are not a really good team, but they're playing really good football right now.
Their defense has stepped up tremendously over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
That was a huge win for them. I did not see – I mean – Cam Newton looked the way Cam Newton looked in the first couple of times he had touched the ball for Carolina. You thought they was going, man, talk about Carolina Panthers, man. They have done everything they possibly can to win this year, and they just cannot catch a break.
I tell you what, though, I don't feel too bad for them. Because they were a team that was right in the middle of the pack. They surprised us a little bit with the first 3-0 start when they first came out. People were looking at Sam Darnold like, yo, dude, looking real good in this offense. And then a couple weeks later, it's like right back to seeing ghost. I'm going to tell you who I really feel bad for right now. I feel bad for them Los Angeles Rams. But shout out to my guy, Odell Beckham. He got 5 catches for 80 yards, and he got in the end zone. And the reason why I feel sorry for them is Matthew Stafford is struggling right now. They've lost 3 straight games, I believe. He's got back-to-back games with a pick 6. I think he might have back-to-back-to-back games with a pick 6 in it. And he's not playing his best football right now. I've been seeing some memes going on around about the kid where they literally got him in the Detroit Lions uniform playing for the Rams. He's looking like he's a little bit shook out there, and I think this is what people were scared of with Matthew Stafford going to the Rams was when it came time to really play meaningful football and games where you are the spotlight, are you going to be able to step up and be able to take your team to where they need to go?
I understand that, and I'm not trying to make excuses for Matthew Stafford, okay? He is absolutely, completely, 100% not healthy right now, A. B,
what injury is he dealing with?
He's got like 3
the
injuries
ankle. He was dealing
now.
with the ankle injury. That was the main
ankle,
one. Yeah.
the hand, and there's one other one, too, that he's dealing with. But, I mean, that being said, this is your job. You're going to be hurt, this and that. I understand that. But he's not healthy 100%. And the running game has let them down in this losing streak. They have not run the ball well at all. And that's what, and that's why I said that from the beginning of the year when I was like, them losing Cam Akers really worried me. And then they came out and they found a way to run the ball. They were doing really well with Darrell Henderson. Sonny Michel came in and ended up being a secondary option there for a little while. Yeah. But now there's no run game, and that offense has to have a run game in order for it to function, right? That being said, Matthew Stafford
I don't
has
agree
made
with you
some.
there because look, they literally got weapons to be the greatest show on turf, Junior. They got all these wide receiver weapons out there. Van Jefferson is playing good football right now. They got a solid tight end in Tyler Higbee. They got Odell Beckham over there. They got Von Miller over there. They got Aaron Donald over there. They got Jalen Ramsey over there. They literally wheeled and deal all these first-round picks to bring in all this proven talent. It's got to work. That's
no,
the
I
bottom
understand
line.
all that, but I'm just saying that offense needs a running game. The style of offense, the play calling,
the point was very
need a
clear.
running game.
The point was very clear. It was very clear. But just like how I was talking about the Dallas Cowboys early on in this year, I thought that they were an offense that would be able to win games in a multitude of fashions. Whether their running game not working, they should be able to pass the ball with CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper and two decent tight ends over there for sure. And then wide receiver depth galore over there. I feel the exact same way about the Rams. Just because they lost Cam Akers, that for me, I'm not going to use that as an excuse for that offense not clicking, even if Darrell Henderson is not running the ball well. Matthew Stafford's got to find a way to not throw interceptions. The bottom line,
100%. I agree with you, and that's why I ended with it by saying that is that it does come down to Matthew Stafford. You can't. The pick sixes is like throwing an interception is throwing an interception, but throwing a pick six, that's a whole different ball game.
Yeah, giving up points, and to me that was the difference in that game. They were down heavy in that game. They were down by 13 when he threw the pick six.
That defense has got to play better though too.
Defense got to play better too, definitely.
Because half of those names you mentioned,
but they ain't been scoring 30 points a lot this season, and they put up 30
half
on
of
the
those
Rams.
names you mentioned were on defense. You know what I'm saying? Jalen Ramsey, Von Miller, Aaron Donald. You know what I'm saying? So it's interesting. I think they're going to bounce back though. I think the Rams are going to find their way. I do think so.
And
big
hopefully their schedule kind of lightens up a little bit too, because they had a stretch here of just difficult games, man.
Yeah, there's a couple of these stretches that some of these teams go through, and you're just like, man. You look at the schedule and like, who they got next week? And it's
Chiefs
like,
had that at the beginning of the year.
Yep. I mean, we had it.
Cowboys are about to deal with it. Y'all had it. We had it. We had it. Y'all snuck out and got y'all win against the Bucs, though, man. That was a major win for y'all.
Yeah, that Chargers game for you guys is
yeah, I've been talking about that one. That's gonna be the one.
Big shout out to Zachary for the $2 super chat. Says Miami defense is worrying. Hopefully, it's Seattle 2.0.
Hope so, man. We got to find a way to come out with a win. If we want to be in it, we got to win all the games that we are expected to win. And Miami Dolphins, that's a game. When we looked at the schedules early on this year, the Miami Dolphins game was one where I was like, that's a winnable game. We should be able to win that game.
I'm assuming number 5 is Oklahoma State, Big Pat. I'll wait for confirmation. Do we think Daniel will get his 5th-year option or no?
Nope. Nope. I don't think so. I think we know what we got in that quarterback. And if they get 5th-year option, man, Jesus. Yeah, that's too much. But, I mean, they did give Eli Manning $20 million plus to sit that bench in 2019.
Yeah, I mean, the Carolina just gave Cam Newton $10 million. I mean, bro, listen, and we're Cam guys. That stat line was so bad. What was he like?
I didn't even get a chance to look at the game either. I wanted to look at the game, but the stat line was bad. 2 interceptions. And I forget what the yards was. Super
I think
low.
it was like 5 for 21 or something like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, look.
$10 million to Cam Newton or $21 million. $10 million to Cam Newton for 8 games, first off.
Yeah.
Or $21 million to Daniel Jones for a full season.
You got a quarter? You got a quarter?
I don't. All right, I'm picking a number 1 or 2.
2.
Daniel Jones, $21 million.
Listen, that's the other thing too, man. Somebody needs to tell the Raiders, you always call tails.
I don't know, man. Head's been working a lot lately. That tails never fails thing, man. I think Jabril Peppers called heads when he said, we taking that muff. Yeah. I think he called heads, bro.
I'm sitting on the couch screaming at Abuela's house. I'm saying, tails, 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 tails. And Josie's cousin is a Cowboys fan. I'm sitting there screaming, and, all the Dominicans are looking at me like, what is he yelling at? Like, like.
Get that shindle. Get that shindle.
And then they get the ball. I thought for sure how that was going to end. But, hey, Giants won, man. You guys are Giants won.
Victory week.
You guys are right.
I don't
You
feel
guys-
good about it, though.
Hey, listen. You're talking to the king and not feeling good about wins.
If you the king, I'm the GOAT of not taking wins for what they are. Everybody's like, just be happy. We won a game. All right, whatever. I'll try my best not to be critical about the New York Giants. But look, right before we get off this game, I want to give you the 3 questions or the 3 it was 2 tweets, 1 YouTube comment that I brought up on the Giant overreaction. No explanation. Just need to know if you're going to take the over or under.
Okay, before I do that, I got to give a big shout out to Philly Notion. Says big respect to Awthentik and the Beard, 100 on your team's wins. Both your teams are still hot, poop, though.
Yeah.
We just stink a little more right now. Laugh out loud. Great stream, fellas.
You know what's so crazy about this Eagles game, bro? They still got a better record than the New York Giants, and we're still sitting at the bottom of the damn division. Shout out to Philly Notion one time in the building, man.
You're in the hunt.
All right, real quickly, because we already been on for an hour and a half. Rapid fire here, okay?
Fire.
So if you agree with it, you're going to take the under. If you think it's an overreaction, you're going to take the over. All right? So the first one, win is a win, but the Giants got lucky. Is this an overreaction?
Underreaction.
Taking the under.
Taking the under.
Freddie Kitchens' play calling is not good enough to save anyone's job in New York.
Under.
Taking the under. Neither Daniel Jones or Jalen Hurts are the long-term answer for their team.
I answered this one. It's a push on Daniel Jones, and it's an under on no, it's an overreaction on Jalen Hurts.
It's an overreaction on Jalen Hurts.
Yes.
All right. So y'all see what it is. If you didn't tune into the Giant overreaction on Monday, I bring in a guest from the Giants content creator community every week just about, and we give them 3 questions and we discuss these topics in a very lengthy format. I thought that show was going to be a 20-minute type of show, but instead it's turned into 2 hours every time because we always got a lot to talk about. The chat is always popping, so make sure you pull up on Mondays for that. Let's take a quick baby commercial break, gather our wits here, get our stuff together, and then we're going to go into this Washington Seahawks game, man. It should be a really good one. Y'all stay tuned.
Your wide receiver on IR? Aw, shucks. Your running back keep fumbling every week? Man, damn it all. Well, come chop it up with your boys. We are waiver wire tight. Awthentik and the Beard. Every Sunday morning, streaming live at 11 a.m.
Y'all know what it is, man. The parlay every Sunday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come chop it up with us, man. Talk fantasy football. Me and the Beard took our first loss in fantasy in about 7 weeks, I believe it is, man. So we looking to bounce back next week and make our little championship run one time, man. But yo, I've been waiting to get to this game, man. This was a solid Monday night performance. I saw somebody talk about this in the chat. I think it was Jason Ferris saying this y'all first Monday night win since RG3 was on the roster. That's a really long time. That's a really long time, bro.
Speaking of RG3, did you see he's getting ready to drop a book?
I did see that, and our group chat was talking about that, and they were like, yo, he's going to spill the beans on everything in Washington. And I said, man, I don't trust RG3, man. He's bitter. I think he's bitter because his career didn't go the way he wanted it to go. His broadcasting career really didn't go the way he wanted it to go. But I'm going to definitely
he's good
be
at
on the
college
lookout
football.
for that.
He's good at college football, yeah.
Okay, so then I'll just for you, I'll correct
you know I
that
love
by
RG3.
His NFL broadcasting career didn't go the way he thought it was supposed to go. All right, so let's get that graphic up, man. And let's go into this Washington game here one time. All right, Seattle lost for the 6th time in its last 7 games, coming up just short against the Washington football team in a 17-15 defeat Monday night. 17-15 is such a weird score. The Russell Wilson-led offense continued to be the big issue for Seattle as it had just one drive that went for longer than 6 plays and not a single series that lasted over 3 minutes of clock time. That is just ridiculous. Plus an inability to get the ball or to get off the field on defense resulted in yet another lopsided time of possession that went in favor of the Seahawks opposition, with Washington controlling the ball for nearly 42 minutes compared to Seattle's 18 minutes. And yet, even with all that, this sounds like I'm talking about the Eagles. The Seahawks nearly forced overtime thanks to a late touchdown drive that covered 96 yards. Washington's newly added kicker Joey Sly was hurt on a blocked field goal that was returned to distance for 2 points, and Ron Rivera was forced to go for it riverboat style on multiple occasions late in the fourth quarter. Washington is now sitting pretty in the 7th seed of the playoff hunt after starting off just 2-6 before that bye. The Beard, let's talk about this roadmap. Turn right.
Run the damn ball. Okay? I mean, listen, that first drive of the game, if you guys aren't following us on Twitter, shout out to Sunday, who's always dropping our Twitter handles in the chat. Follow us on Twitter because we are a great follow when there's football being played. I was absolutely livid with that first possession of the Washington football team. Absolutely livid. Because I was like, what is going on? Did we just pass the ball like 3 times? Like, I don't understand. Like, what happened to the running game? Like, we're like,
the roadmap.
Listen, they figured it out. They realized they're like, oh, hey. Somebody told us to take a right. We went a left. It's time to make another left and get back going right. Okay? Because they finally realized we got to run the rock. Antonio Gibson, J.D. McKissick. And this goes back to something that Awthentik and I talk about all the time. You gotta have the 2 running backs, not the 2 same running backs.
Yep.
You gotta have complementing running backs, and J.D. McKissick and Antonio Gibson are the perfect complementary running backs. And I know we've been hard on Antonio Gibson because he has had a couple of inopportune fumbles this year, right? But listen, there were people talking about we need to draft a running back. I'm like, y'all need to pump the brakes. And do you know how many times Antonio Gibson carried the ball in college in his entire career in college? Carried the ball.
6.
10 times he carried the ball in his entire career at Memphis. He's a wide receiver. You know what I'm saying? And now he's playing running back. The dude.
Where did he go to school at?
Memphis.
They was tripping over there. He ain't no wide receiver. He's a damn running back.
Big shout out to Tuto for the $4.99 super chat. Says, salute the Awthentik, the New York Giant legends of all time. Drop by to pay our proper respects and for slap all slimy, stinky Eagle fans out the door.
Out the
Shout
door,
out
fam.
Tuto.
Big shout out to the homie Tudo one time, man. Always holding down the New York Giants community, man. We appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you pulling up. Your presence is very welcome here, man. And thank you for that $4.99 super chat one time, man.
Appreciate it, brother. So Antonio Gibson had one of his best games, I think. And, there were a couple of third downs there that we didn't get. And I think, the play calling was it was 100% predictable.
Real quick on this one on Miz, real quick. He says, there are rumors Jones might be done for most of the year. That could be a nightmare. Or it could be a dream. You never know, Miz. You never know. Free Mike Glennon. All right, let's
get the shirts printed now.
I know. I'm working on it. I got to send an email out to the clothing department. First, the graphics department. Get the graphic right.
Merch department. Yeah,
the merch department.
But yeah, Antonio Gibson played an absolutely amazing game. There were a couple of opportunities that this is the worst part about this is that the Washington, they didn't capitalize. This game should have been a complete and utter blowout.
Tell me about it.
There were a couple,
there
were a couple of very missed opportunities. There was a one play early on where DeAndre Carter missed the block on the outside, and then Antonio Gibson got hit, and it looked like he was going to be out for the game at that point because the way his knee did one of those little like Gumby flexibility Stretch Armstrong Jones like the wrong way, like he was popping and locking, and I was like, you got to make that block. And then there was a time where Antonio Gibson it was the best play call that Scott Turner called on third down all game long. And Antonio Gibson took it for like 29 yards. And what happened? Brandon Sheriff penalty. Brandon Sheriff had a pretty bad game. And they want to pay that. He wants to be paid the highest guard in the National Football League. Not going to happen, Captain.
Ooh, smoking that good huff.
Yeah. And look, Terry McLaurin, once again, didn't have a huge number-wise game, but every time you needed a tough third down conversion, Terry McLaurin was catching the ball. And that's what you need from your leader. And I'll tell you, Curtis Samuel came back on a snap count One of the biggest plays of the game was he got the ball and it was a big play, not necessarily yardage, but a big play situational. He got up and did one of these.
I like that.
And the crowd was going. I mean, listen, to see.
I heard y'all had record lows in the crowd, though. They said the stadium was like half empty.
It's like that every time now.
I didn't get to see the Wale performance either. I know Wale got to perform at halftime as well.
Shout out to the homie Chris Baker, aka Swaggy. He had a little picture of him and Wale at the game. So a big shout out to the homie Chris Baker, Swaggy. Hopefully we'll be getting him on here soon. But yeah,
I did like that play from Curtis Samuel, and I like the confidence to get the crowd involved in it like that. You know, a lot of people be scared to hype the crowd up, and then you guys don't have Chase Young on the field, so it's like he's usually that vocal leader, that guy hyping the crowd up and stuff. It was good to see Curtis Samuel out there making a catch and hyping the crowd up.
And then Logan Thomas coming back. Once again, also
this ain't true. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
$14 per game.
That's not. Yo, I looked them up right before the game. Them Jones was like $80. I was like, nah, I'm not paying $80 to go see that game right now. But I would have paid the $14 for the upper deck for sure.
And Logan Thomas came back, which was also very important. You could tell he's great for Heineke because we know Heineke has the problem of throwing the ball high, and you know Heineke only made a few mistakes in this game, and one of them was, he got Logan Thomas almost knocked out of that game on that turnover.
I don't know if I put that on Heineke. It's a seam route. You know, at tight end position when you run the seam like that, the safety's just barreling down on you. He's gonna make the hit.
Yeah, but I mean, he didn't put. He kind of a little high. In an area that was,
it's just a little bit of a tight window.
Yeah,
though.
It was.
I will say that.
But
and Logan Thomas was
it.
relaxed. He was a little bit relaxed.
Yeah, he forced it. You know what I'm saying? The play should have probably never happened. He definitely forced that pass. Turned out to be.
You see at quarterback, I'm looking at that one like, you see where I placed that ball?
Yeah, no.
It's kind of like the Cam Newton throw to CMC the week one that he came back.
And a touchdown. Yeah,
tight window
in the result though. You know, that's the thing about Taylor Heineke. Sometimes Taylor Heineke forgets that he's Taylor Heineke, which sometimes is absolutely amazing. It works out really well. Other times, it turns the ball over.
I like that throw. I think that Logan Thomas, with the timeout that he had, really wasn't himself in this game. The drop on the goal line late, and then that play right there.
You mean the touchdown?
Yeah, and I do think he dropped it after looking at it about 100 times. When I saw it live, I said, man, I don't know. That looked like a touchdown to me. But he had the ball in one hand, and half of the ball was on the ground. You can't say he has possession, I think. And I think they made the right call, but it was like, that was a tough call to make. That's a tough call to make. Ain't no doubt about it. He was in the end zone for sure.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is about this is like the way that it's supposed to be is like you're supposed to overturn that. It wasn't like, to me, there wasn't necessarily enough evidence to overturn it. You know what I'm saying? Like usually that's what they say.
Half the ball on the ground. That to me, that's where they were like, we got to just overturn it.
Yeah, but his hand is underneath the other half.
It was.
Which is why I'm just like,
sketchy rule, and I heard somebody saying that anytime, I think it was Colin Cowherd saying this today, that anytime a receiver is that low to the ground, that if it touches the ground, it should just be an incompletion. Just to make the rule definitive, but
definitive.
I think that with a guy like Logan Thomas there, as a Giants fan, I saw our only touchdown was a tight end catching the ball with his feet, and the ball was barely on the ground. You gotta make that more clear. And I just think Logan Thomas is a solid tight end. Me and Mike Swan was talking about him on Xbox, and I was telling him that I didn't think that Ricky Seals-Jones was that massive of a drop-off from Logan Thomas. But I think in this game, you could see it. It is a fairly large drop-off for Logan Thomas. But he just got to get back and get his wits together, I think, and he'll be just fine. But
and he was on a snap count, so which both him and Curtis Samuel were on snap counts. DeAndre Carter once again came up with a couple of huge catches in this game. He continues to impress me as an option offensively and not just as a special teamers. And I've been talking about him for what feels like 6-7 weeks now, and
since the big return,
I'm
like
glad
week 2,
to see
week 3.
him doing that. Yeah, I'm glad to see them keep getting him involved. But we ran the ball 43 times. I keep saying it. You got to get to that 40 rushing, threshold, and they've done it again. And we got 43 rushes for 152 yards in this game, and that's what led to the time of possession.
Yeah,
and I mean, I think the graphics department has something for this time of possession. Big shout out to Tuto for the $4.99 super chat. Says, my father always taught me, all men created equally, but some work harder in the offseason. There will always be the last man standing with honor and glory.
I
Amen.
like that voice. With honor and glory. Like from a movie, man. Shout out to homie Tudo one time. Y'all know what it is, man. Giants Nation in the building, man. We appreciate you, Tudo. You know what it is, man. But yeah, I'll bring up that graphic for you, man, about time of possession here, man, because this was super important.
Yeah, I mean, we stopped the run. Obviously, they only had 34 rushing yards. Washington was able to have 152 rushing yards, and that was on 43 rushes, 27 first downs. That's how you keep the clock moving. That's how you keep the chains moving. Look at the amount of offensive plays, a difference. 79 offensive plays ran by the Washington football team to 45 for the Seattle Seahawks. All of those above statistics is what gets you the result of 41 minutes and 40 seconds time of possession to 18 minutes and 20 seconds. This might be one of the most lopsided time of possessions I have seen this year.
Yeah, look at the little bottom asterisk, too. It's the most by Washington in a non-overtime game since 1984.
I mean, that's insane. And
Yeah.
This is how you win football games when you're playing to your strengths and avoiding, Taylor Heineke has been successful at playing quarterback when he doesn't have to throw the ball 40 times.
Yeah.
And he made some absolutely phenomenal plays in this game. The one where he did he went Matrix on him.
Mm-hmm.
He looked like Catherine Zeta-Jones in what was the name of that movie? Entrapment, when she was going through the lasers.
Yeah. Straight entrapment vibes.
It was crazy. So big shout out to Taylor Heineke. I mean, he is doing what he needs to do to not lose the game for the Washington football team.
I think he's winning the games for y'all. You get critical fourth downs, critical third downs late in the game. This is back-to-back weeks now that he puts together a conversion to pretty much win the game. The interception that he threw in this game wasn't on him. That ball, I forget who it was, but it hit him right in the hands, popped it up Evan Ingram style right in the air, and then it got intercepted.
That was the ball to Logan Thomas.
Yeah, that's the same one I thought. Yeah, that wasn't on him, man. That throw's good. How many times do you see a tight end go right across the middle and take a big hit like that and make the catch? A lot.
Yeah. But I mean, I think he forced it, and I think he threw it high. That's,
that thing was right in the breadbasket. And 27 of 35 for 233 yards from a guy like that. And just the way that he can extend the plays, man. I just love how he extends the plays. I love the combination of Taylor Heineke and J.D. McKissic. J.D. McKissic's numbers in this game weren't that crazy, and he did get banged up and had to get carted off the field.
He's good, though,
game.
he says.
And he did say he was good. But what was that, like third quarter, I think he gets knocked out?
Yeah.
35 yards catching on 7 catches, and then he had that was my bad. That was Antonio Gibson. He had 5 catches for 26 yards and 7 rushes for 30 and the 1 touchdown. But he's just effective, man. Every time he touches the ball, it's positive yards. I love that pairing because when you were talking about the 2 running back system, you had said Antonio Gibson and J.D. McKissic is kind of like the perfect marriage or something like that. I'm paraphrasing. And my initial thought was like, but where does the power come from, right? I was thinking, like, where's the power back, though? You would think that in a 2-back system there's a power back. But this works really well for Washington with the mobile quarterback who can maneuver in the pocket and knows when to check down. He knows when to take – you're seeing Taylor Heineke turn into a quarterback now.
Yeah.
The first couple
100%.
of weeks, you were seeing a guy out there who was like, you erratic mistakes that you really couldn't account for as a coach, doing things where you trying to do too much.
Yeah,
and now
it looks
I
like
think
the
he
game
knows
has
what
slowed
he's
down
trying
for
to
him
do.
a little bit.
It has. He looked more like what Russell Wilson should have looked like last night than what Russell Wilson looked like.
100%. I totally agree with that. And I think Antonio Gibson showed that he can be a power back. He had some tough runs in this game where he was hitting that hole and he was getting low. There was one on the play on the sideline where the safety tried to come up and smack him, and he could have gone out of bounds, but he said, "Nah, I'm about ready to lower the shoulder." And then
he doesn't run powerful like your traditional back. He stays a little bit upright. You know what I mean? But he sheds tackles, man. I like when y'all needed to drain clock there at the end of the game, especially with your kicker out.
2 weeks in a
doing
row.
Damage.
2 weeks in a row that's been like that. And listen, the way the red zone continues to be a huge problem, and you obviously know this. And we will continue to have this discussion, I feel like, week
Yeah.
after week, because our two teams are the absolute worst in the National Football League in red zone conversion percentage rates. And once again,
Still.
tonight or yesterday night, we were 2 of 4. And it's just like, I understand, you didn't have a kicker for the second half. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But still, like, the play calling in the red zone, it just seems it's super tough. We converted a 2-point conversion for the first time since Scott Turner has been an offensive coordinator. We have never converted a 2-point conversion until last night.
That's
So,
ridiculous.
and that was the game difference right there. And then obviously, defensively, the defensive unit has been playing so much better every week. There was the moment, though, where we had a flashback to the earlier part of the season where we had a miscommunication and Bobby McCain did not pick up the Tyler Lockett after being dropped off by William Jackson. He was supposed to pick him up and he didn't, and then that led to the big Tyler Lockett play. And then, but besides that, players were stepping up all over the field. Jamin Davis made an absolutely phenomenal open field tackle, which was critical in that game. Shaka Toney came back this week, who was a guy that I was looking to step up in the absence of Chase Young and Montez Sweat, but was out last week with the concussion. He stepped up. He made a sack. Exactly. And then, Landon Collins.
Let's talk about it.
Dude, I hope you're not still upset about playing linebacker because you are a damn good linebacker.
And I asked you this before, and I haven't noticed this in the games because it does seem like he's still playing a bit of like a moneybacker vibe, and he is kind of a strong safety. Is he actually a linebacker on the field?
I think technically he's actually a linebacker on the field.
So what is y'all scheme? Y'all run a 4-3? Yeah, y'all run a 4-3 because y'all front four is all the first round rookies. So he's one of the 3 linebackers?
Yeah.
No way.
Him, Cole Holcomb, and Jamin Davis. I mean, I could be. I mean,
now I'm gonna really keep my eye on the next game.
It could
because
be
I feel
rotating.
like he's more at safety, like not like at safety, but he's playing more of a money backer role, more what we used to call a cat back in my day.
Yeah, there are certain situations where he is back there, but it's maybe like 2 or 3 times a game. But besides that, he's playing down in there. I mean, he's been playing phenomenal since that move,
Yeah, he had the strip in this game. He led y'all with 7 tackles on the day. I mean, Landon Collins is looking like, and he looked hype. That's what I really liked about it.
The whole team did. The whole team did. Ron Rivera. I mean, did you see Ron Rivera leaving the field?
Oh yeah, he was cursing up a storm like that.
He looked. He looked like he just finished playing in the game.
I love it.
You know what I'm saying?
Then he was chewing gum in the press conference. I loved it. He's just like, yeah, this team deserved to win. Like,
and Cameron Curl, I mean, you know how much I love Cameron Curl, and I've talked about him, and he is continuously playing lights out football, and Kendall Fuller played good too. I mean, that last play, the breakdown. I don't know if you watched Ryan Clark and
I did see his breakdown right after the game.
Yeah. What did you think of his breakdown of the play?
He broke it down perfect. Russell Wilson did lead the throw a little bit too much to the inside, but Cameron Curl, there's like a little bit of a disguise there. He looks like he's double teaming the other crossing route, and last second, when they freeze framed it when Ryan Clark was breaking it down, I forget who the wide receiver is for the Seattle Seahawks on that play. He's a young dude, but he's wide open.
Was it? Yeah.
I know it wasn't Lockett and it wasn't Metcalf. No, it wasn't Fitzpatrick
or Swain.
It was Swain. Yeah.
Freddie Swain.
It was Swain. And he's open. And I think Russell just saw it late. That's what can happen in the NFL when you read stuff late. You got to throw people open. I didn't like him trying to squeeze it into a tight window.
I saw your tweet about every time they're down there, you
I think about Super Bowl 50. Yeah, every time. Every time they're on the 2-yard line and they pass it, I'm like, oh, here we go. Going to be an interception. I feel it.
And I thought, listen, this goes back to what I was talking about with you guys. There's not a soul Washington football team fan that when that touchdown got overturned, the Logan Thomas touchdown got overturned, that didn't think that Russell Wilson was getting ready to completely drive down the field. And tie that game up.
That was a 96-yard drive by Russell Wilson, too. And he ended the day with 233 yards through the air. So he got 96 of them on that last drive. Y'all really held the Seattle Seahawks in check. DK Metcalf only had 1 catch for 13 yards.
Yeah.
And their defense was forced to try to stop the run all day because y'all had a very effective day on the ground. Bobby Wagner had 14 tackles in this, 10 solo, and
listen,
Jordan Brooks
that
had
dude-
14 tackles and 10 solo as well. So both of them had combined right there. You're looking at 28 tackles from two players.
And what I say when we were talking about that game on Sunday, I said somebody's going to have to block that man.
Yeah.
He has to, and I said this on multiple times this year, and probably in the last couple of seasons of Authentic in the Beard. Bobby Wagner is one of the most underappreciated, underrated. Maybe not even
underrated. I don't know, man.
Underappreciated, maybe.
Yeah, maybe underappreciated.
Underappreciated.
When you play against the Seattle Seahawks, he's the one guy on that defense that you better keep your head on the swivel about.
He is a Hall of Fame linebacker. There's no question about it. They put up a number of on the screen, and it was like, I think it was like the most seasons in a row leading the league in tackles, or 100 something, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And it was all Hall of Famers and him. Like he is just an absolute.
Yeah, I thought
beast.
Seattle's defense did a pretty decent job in the game. They just couldn't get to the quarterback. That was the problem. They only had one sack on the day on Taylor Heineke.
And when Heineke found a way to escape.
Yeah,
and
he's
make plays
elusive.
with his
I told
feet
you,
and
Heineke
with
is
his
top 5, bro.
arm.
He is a top 5 guy in the pocket. There's no doubt about it. He maneuvers in the pocket better than almost every quarterback in the league. It reminds me of a young Russell Wilson, to be honest. And Darrell Taylor is the guy who he's the only one who got a sack for the Seahawks all day. And there's a couple things I just want to break down here. Now, look, the Seahawks, 233 yards through the air. On the ground, they were awful. They only had 34 yards rushing in this whole game. And just like how I wanted to talk about the Giants, and I broke down every drive from the Giants, how pitiful it looked. Let's take a look at the Seattle Seahawks here. Where's that one at? Right here. Okay, they're breaking records with terrible offense here, okay? Look at the results of their drives. Punt, fumble, punt, 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 touchdown. That is awful. You cannot win games like that. They were 4 of 12 on third down in this game. Now, Seattle on the year, they have 2 games where they have 5 back-to-back 3-and-outs. Let me say that again. 2 games where they have 5 back-to-back-to-back-to-back-to-back 3-and-outs. The crazy part about that statistic is in one of those games, it was in week 4 against the 49ers. They actually won a game, and they went 3-and-out 5 times in a row. So for me, this goes back to exactly what I was saying about the Giants here. Y'all got lucky.
Oh, yeah. Listen, a little bit of both, okay? So, listen, we definitely got lucky, and I'm going to talk about the ending of that game in a second, but it not necessarily just got lucky, but, like, if you don't capitalize against a good football team, you lose this game. Because Washington, like I said in the early portion of this breakdown, they should have blown the brakes off of Seattle in this game, but they didn't. If you think that you're going to be able to win a game like this against Dallas, it's not going to happen. You're going to have to do better against a team like Dallas, or even next week against the Raiders. Like you're going to have to do better. You got to do better in the red zone. You got to put points on the board. And now we have a new kicker again. So there's definitely some question marks, but I think that there is room for excitement because of the style of football that we're now playing. This run game is legit. It is totally working. The balance of run to pass has allowed Taylor Heineke to perform at a higher level. The defense is finally on the same page. They're getting pressure. They're stopping the run. So, like, those things are all things that we need to look forward to. But 100%, you can't play a game like this against a good football team and expect to win. So we definitely got lucky in that
Dare I say,
aspect.
y'all got more lucky than we did. Because y'all won a game by 2 points, and you talk about failure at the end of the game and losing your kicker, that really ruined it for you there too, because at the end of that game, you could just kick a field goal to put that game on ice.
And that's
because
one thing,
the field
too.
goal kicker's not there.
You don't think there's nobody on that sideline that can kick a 20-yard field goal?
Maybe there is, but you still taking a major risk. You're going to take a major risk that if you miss that field goal, it's a one-possession game. You're going to allow Seattle to come back down with field position. So it's like, I don't know what I do in that situation.
But you still do it. You still do it because you don't score the touchdown. It was 4th and goal.
Yeah, so you got to look at it as like, yo, do I have better odds of trying to score a touchdown with my starting offense, or do I have better odds of trying to get some guy who's never kicked field goals in a game kicking a 25-yarder?
That's a very good point.
Professionals be missing those extra points all day long.
Yeah.
You saw Tennessee's kicker doinking them joints off the goalpost all day long. It happens all the time.
And you know what else, too?
I do remember
that. So then the onside kick.
Yeah.
Bruh.
Yeah.
I was so blown because they recovered it. First of all, I don't know
how much time was left in the game there, like 20 seconds? They had no timeouts.
It was either 15 or 19 seconds.
Yeah,
but
so
the dude number 59,
get out there.
I don't know what 59 was thinking, but he ducked.
You talking about the guy on your team?
Yes.
Yeah. Look, have you ever played on a hands team before?
Yeah, of course. Come on, man.
It's lines. There's certain people have designated jobs. If you're on that front line, you're not supposed to catch the ball. You got to go block the guys that are coming to hit the guy behind you. You normally want the guy behind you to catch the ball. There's an infamous New York Giants one that I remember like the back of my hand with Odell Beckham, where Odell Beckham had the kick come right to him, and he kind of like got a little scared and didn't want to get hit. And they end up recovering that joint. I do remember that. So it's like, yeah, you have designated roles on the hands team on the front line. Like especially if you're closer to the inside towards the kicker, those guys really, they don't want you catching the ball. You're out there to block. You're take care of that first wave of people from the kicking team coming at you so that the guy behind you could kick the ball, which in this case, they almost got 2 onside kicks. Even after the flag was called on the guy, literally just about a half a yard over. Which is another thing that I don't
understand is that how can the penalty be on the kicking team and then they get another chance to kick? I thought that was
it's almost like an illegal formation on the offense. Think about it like that. The play is dead. It's not like he was offsides. It's an illegal formation.
Yeah.
So you got to look at it. Same way you look at illegal formation on the offensive side of the ball, we got to redo that down. It almost didn't count.
Yeah. And it almost went down. It almost went south really fast.
It did. What I was going to say is on the second kick, if homie just goes, you got to, when you're on the onside kick team, you got to be ruthless. You can't be hesitating. If he would have just beeline to the football, he has a really good chance of recovering that second one too. But I also think that your defense would have probably stood up strong. You're looking at Russell Wilson coming down from about the 50-yard line with 20 seconds left in the game. I wouldn't have banked on them getting a touchdown there either. Well, actually, they would have just needed a field goal. They would have just needed a field goal.
Yeah, just needed a field goal.
Yeah.
Big shout out to diehard Giants fan for the $2 super chat. Says I'd take an average fan over Dixon to punt.
Yeah,
I could probably punt about.
I'll give you 28 yards on a punt, bro.
We'll see. That's not too far from what I was going to say. I was going to say 35, 40.
You ain't punting that thing 40 yards.
No?
And I'll give you 28 yards on the dribble, on the bounce.
Yeah, bounce. I mean, bounce is half of the game is the bounce, baby.
Yeah, and then also I think when you punt the ball, do they mark the distance of the punt from the line of scrimmage or from where the punter is standing? It's from the line of scrimmage, right?
That is a very interesting. I've
that,
never
right?
thought about that.
Right, because if you got to count that 18 yards that you back from the center, I'm giving you a good 12-yard punt. Straight up and down.
12
I'm giving you a
yards,
good 12, maybe 8-yard punt, bro.
Well, see, I'm more of a situational punter. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you in that range where you can't kick a field goal, but you can't go for it. And, sometimes they take a delayed game.
Let me tell you the situation where I have you at punter. Let me tell you the situation. When it's like you up by like a good, like, let's say you up by 14, okay?
Is this like when you bring an outfielder in a pitch in the baseball game?
Nah,
Okay,
not even like that. Not even like worse, okay? This is where you have the punter catch the ball and then run out the back of the end zone and take the safety so you can punt it on the kickoff the next go around. You know the situation I'm talking about?
Yeah, so you want me to kick off too?
Now that's when we bring in the real kicker. All right? That's where we bring in the real kicker. But we use you in case you got to get hit or get tackled so that the punter or the kicker don't get hurt on the play. You just catch the snap. You got some hands. I'll give you that. You got some hands. You catch the snap. And that's one thing, too, man. Punters, their hands are underrated, man. They be catching every punt just about. They long snapper beelining the ball right back to the punter. They always catch it. But in your case, you catch it, you run out the back of the end zone, then I'm like, hey, Beard, come here. Come sit on this bench right next to me, and that's that.
Well, I was a long snapper.
Yeah, you weren't that good at that either. I wouldn't say.
Whoa, no, whoa. I wasn't.
We got to do the authentic versus the Beard.
Yeah, I was a phenomenal long snapper. I was a long snapper my entire football career.
Yeah,
I was a long snapper.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, there was a time, okay, when
let me tell you,
when the Beard didn't step off the football field. Okay,
that was how many years ago?
I played offense, defense, and special teams.
Yeah.
Tight end, middle linebacker, long snapper.
Yeah.
I was all over the place, man.
I
Double
remember.
overtime, Poolsville, 21 tackles, fracture rib, 2 forced fumbles, fumble recovery.
You think you could long snap it farther than me?
It's not about distance, it's about accuracy with the long snap.
Both accuracy and distance.
I mean, listen, I can hit a bullseye target.
Let's put it like this. Let's make it a little easier. Let's make it more simpler. You think you could long snap at 18 yards right now? Without it looking like a lollipop?
In a bullseye. You can set up a target, and I hit the bullseye target 18 yards long snap.
So let's just do it before it get too cold. I still got the kicking holder, and Zach can vouch for this. He's seen you play football in real life. He know you got 2 right feet. He knows it. He definitely.
But boy, them right feet work good.
Forgetting those stats. God damn. So look, this is what we're gonna do before it get too cold. Okay. I got the kicking joint that they use in practice. It's not a kicking tee, but it's a sort of a tee that holds.
It's a block.
No, it's not a block either. It's like an extended stick that holds the ball like you kicking a field goal. So we'll go out. We'll see how you can kick field goals. And we'll see how you can long snap 18 yards target. I'll get a target for you. We can put up a target, and we'll make we'll make some content out of it. I'm sure that the fam in the chat would totally appreciate that. So before it gets cold, we got to go golfing too, and we got to do some authentic versus beer.
Okay.
See if you can hit a bullseye 18 yards.
Listen, I can see it in my head right now. I'm just,
You got the roadmap to 18 yards.
I got the roadmap to 18 yards. But listen,
can't wait.
I gotta get, I gotta feel out the football. Can't just say feel the ball, but I gotta feel out the football. I gotta see how we're gonna maneuver that.
Yeah, we'll see. I got the football. I got not the block, not the tee. I don't know what you call that thing.
There used to be a big shout out to Diehard Giants fan for the $2 super chat. Says sorry, Beard. Hey, big shout out to Lucas who says Team Beard here. I believe, brother.
All right,
thank you, sir.
Don't forget, you got to hit it on a bullseye, and you're going against me, so I get my opportunity at this too.
You're gonna hit the bullseye 18 yards.
Oh, come on, dog. That ain't nothing. You can hit it if you hit the bullseye at 18. I'm gonna hit it at 28. That's how we going. 10. I'll give you 10 snaps. 10 snaps, and we're gonna film them so that the fam can totally see this. We're gonna have to have a trajectory threshold. You can't just, it can't look like a punt when you long snap it. And field goal too. What we going on a field goal? We going 20 yards? What's your maximum distance on your field goal?
I mean, I think we just keep moving back after every made field goal. We move back 5 yards.
Of course, but what's your estimation on how far you think you could kick a field goal?
I mean, listen.
Here we go. A whole long story when it could have just been like 30 yards.
My hamstring a little tight, so I'm gonna need to use the little massage gun joint we got. You know what I'm saying? Work out the hamstring a little bit before I start, getting my my leg going a little bit. So I think once I get a good stretch session in, some
63 degrees on Thursday if you want to knock it out before the podcast.
Calisthenics before the podcast, man. We've been on a podcast like
Come on. No, I'm in
No,
like
listen,
the best shape
I
of my
need- I
life
need-
right now, bro.
Listen, I am not, bro. I
I told you, next time we get the
Dominican
hooping, they gonna be
Thanksgiving,
like,
man.
Young Authentic just dunked on somebody on a fast break. I'm telling you, I've been down here getting in the studio. I got nothing to do. Ah!
Look what Monique says. Josie is not here, so I'll speak on her behalf. This experiment needs to wait until after the wedding.
Hey, that,
No,
you got an
I'm not
excuse if
making
you need one.
excuses. I'm just, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to
He said
calculate in
cap.
my
He-
head.
He gave you the 3 caps, though, emojis.
I gotta, I need a week of calisthenics to get the legs a little loose before I start going out there and booting 40-yarders. You know what I'm saying?
I'll give you a week, dog.
But
All right,
listen,
I'll
I
give you a
think
week.
I think I could probably do a 37-yard field goal. Would probably be my. I might be able to get to 40. I gotta have to refresh my mind on a few things.
Yeah,
Because sometimes you gotta remember.
Time out. What the hell did you just say? You're gonna have to refresh a few what?
Refresh a few things in my mind about how to kick a field goal.
Oh, some technique things. I got you.
Some technique things, you know what I'm saying?
So a
because it's all about the foot
37-yarder?
placement. It's
Is that
all
what
about
you're-
the foot placement. Because
36-yarder?
sometimes, you can't just
Can we
kick
get
straight
confirmation?
on.
I just want confirmation. You're doing a lot
We're
of
gonna go
beating around the
35.
bush.
We'll go with
I'm talking
35. We'll go with
35-yard field
35.
goal,
35
18-yard
field goal.
snap. Where you want to do it on your turf, Paul Mander court, home field advantage, or you want to come out here to my court, my field, do it up here, maybe Catholic?
Yeah, we need some real good terrain. Like I can't. Well, the Catholic might be a little preoccupied. It is football season.
It is. You got what's the other joint? I was gonna say Lincoln Tech, but it's not Lincoln Tech. It's something
McKinney Tech.
McKinney Tech.
Yeah.
Yeah, we go pull up there, man. That's great grass. That like turfy kind of grass. No excuses, man.
Yeah, we'll slow motion it. You know what I'm saying? So you guys can see the turf pebbles floating in the
Kadarius
air
Toney
when I
vibes.
kick a 35-yarder.
We still got to put this whole, what is it, a 4.540 to test sometime too.
4.6. 540.
Oh,
It's always been a
4.640.
4.640. Always been a 4.640. Always been a
I'm
4.640.
dang, I think 4.6. I don't think you crack in 5 seconds.
You don't think
remember
I can crack 5 seconds?
I don't know
Listen,
if you remember.
I'm gonna be honest with
Hold
you.
on,
I'm gonna be honest with you.
Hold on.
Okay.
Listen real quick. I don't know if you remember, but I remember what happened the last time we tried to go out there and run the 40-yard dash.
Who, me?
Yeah, me, you, and Ajibade.
When
Look,
was
it's all
this?
coming back. It was at McKinley Tech. What was this? The first couple yards, and you was like, ah.
Oh yeah, got a
Grabbed
little
the back of
tight.
the
Got a little
hamstring.
tight. Got a little tight. Got a little
It was
tight.
done.
Yeah.
It was done.
It was done.
Yeah. He said, yeah, let me
Got
tell
a little
you.
tight. Got a little tight.
I remember last time I tried to race Pat, too. Pat was talking all that. I'm faster than you. Ain't faster than me. You ain't faster than me. I gave him the.
I'm carrying a little bit more weight than I was in my 4-6 days.
Okay.
So I'm gonna get. I need some TB12, and
You tell me the date. As long as it's before the football season is over.
five.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. Last
Y'all
time
really don't think I could clock under
you're not
5
cracking
seconds?
no 5. First try especially, you definitely not cracking 5. I give you 10 tries, you get a 5.2 maybe. That old
I'm
man
gonna start.
kicking in.
It is a little
I
bit.
saw your face there looking at it like,
I
5.5
just
do sound
when I
right.
no, what happened was I started thinking about my hamstring. That's all.
Yeah, hamstring's definitely a thing.
I had 0.10 of a second for each year post high school.
That's facts. And me and Zach raced out front of Scotty's house like probably about, what was that, maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, and Zach beat me in that race. I thought I was going to be able to just come off the streets in jeans and beat Zach in a race. He beat me in that race by like a good 2 steps. What'd he say? Beard is giving Authentic what?
False sense of security.
yeah. It's mind games, yeah. It's that meme, that emoji. Like, see what I did there?
I will tell you that Washington football team is currently in the 7th place of the National Football League playoff standings.
Big facts. Shout out to the Washington football team. Sitting at 7. I was surprised to see that this morning. That was kind of tight.
Well, they were talking about it all last night. I
Why
was like,
can
this
Daniel?
is
You know,
insane.
this question here was like, it like almost made my mind explode because I read the can, but then the not slide. You know, there's something not right about that. But why can Daniel Jones not slide? I don't know, man. I think it's because he's a little goofy. You know what I'm saying? Like, could you imagine Daniel Jones playing baseball, stealing second base, and hitting you with that slide, getting back up like Willie Mays Hayes? And you can't picture that, yo. He don't got the swag to do it.
Listen, that's why I always slid head first. I can never
did.
slide regular. I slid head first every time I slid.
This dude
in
would
baseball.
slide head first to first base. Yo, we be looking at him like, and then he'd get up arguing with the umpire like, nah, I was safe. Kirking on the umpire. I do miss baseball. Them baseball days were amazing, yo. I mean, they was trying to put me at any position possible. Like, you could throw? Oh, you play quarterback? Come on, we need a pitcher. Nelson's dad. Then it was like, oh, our catcher can pitch now. Why don't you go play catcher? Maybe you can play center field. I played everything but first base, I feel like.
Yeah.
I look like the beard looking for some memorabilia. That face he made right there looked like he looking for some memorabilia. What we got? What we got? What we got? What we got?
I think I got something in here. I thought I did. It might be in the other case.
Oh, come on.
Oh, I got it.
There we go. There we go.
Hold on. I got salt, pepper shakers,
The beard over there. We giving you the over the years vibes right now. Let me give you the solo screen while we get the beard right over there. Make sure y'all tune in on Sunday for the parlay. And also, if you're not subbed up to the Beard's Over the Years channel, he does auctions on Monday that are fantastic. I definitely recommend it. If you need to get your wifey like a little nice piece of glass, a nice little bowl or something, or you know, like them little characters your mom would have on the little shelf back in the day, the Beard got all the goods over there. So I see him over there getting it prepped up. Look like he got
Awthentik.
it just about ready, just about right now. Let's see what we're working with.
I got a whole bunch of stuff here, bro. Okay.
Let's get this screen cleared up one time too.
Yeah. Shout out to the homie OBX Picker for the $1.99 super chat.
Look at you, man. Still on it. Look at you, man. Multitasking, man. I'm proud of you.
I don't know how many authentic trophies I have in here, but okay.
Is that what you went for? Ooh, hold up. I got to
What do we
go
have
full
here?
screen vibes real quick.
What is
Hold
this
up.
one? This is Albert Einstein High School JV Baseball Most Valuable Player 1999.
Cool. Mr. Burnell gave you that one. Shout out to Mr.
Shout out
Burnell
Mr.
one
Burnell.
time in the building, yo.
Okay.
What else we got here?
Here we go. Albert Einstein High School Athletic Achievement Award.
Oh, Coach's Award?
Coaches Award JV Football 1999.
That's where I got to come back now. That's where I got to come back now. What? We giving out awards for participation?
That's not participation, man. Listen, look, then Most Improved Player Boys JV Basketball 1999, 2000.
Ooh, I like it. Shout
Look,
out to the JV basketball team.
I got
Beard out
plaques
here
on all
dropping
those. Here we
buckets.
go, Steve. Oh, here we go.
Come on. How many of these? Hold on. Before we go, how many of these are we about to go over here on Authentic and the Beard?
Listen, we got maybe like 4 or 5 left. Okay, guys.
Bro, I thought you were about to go for like some Giants memorabilia or something. This man went into the closet and pulled out the old JV trophies. Come on, keep them coming, Beard. Keep 'em
Okay,
coming.
here we go. This is the Wheaton Boys and Girls Club Blue Demons,
Oh, that was a great
1996 MVP. Look at that one. That's a sweet one.
Ooh.
That's a big, tall one. We're going to put that
Okay,
one
shout out to
here.
Beardy. You kept these trophies from Pee Wee Baseball back in the day. I like this. I like this. No
Here we
medals?
go.
What about the
Joe-
medals?
oh,
no medals?
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna give you 3 more, bro. Yeah, the medals.
Do I got the medals? Come on, man. Do I got the medals? Look,
Oh my God.
I got the medals.
You know, Frank Gorski swears to God he was the best baseball player on that team.
No, there we go. 1998 Reds, most assists, 15.
Oh, the Reds. We were a bad team that year too. I remember that. The blue. Whoa, you okay? You okay? That was God right there.
Here we go. 1997 Gold Glove.
Gold glove, nice. Oh, you about to stack them up? Are you gonna put a fist in the sky too?
1998
Oh my
Reds,
God.
most
Hold on, I gotta
hits.
see how the chat vibing on this one real quick. He said, "Let's go, Wheaton Bellway League." Let's go.
1998 most putouts. Man, I had a good year in 98.
Oh, hey, the year of the medals, I don't know if you remember that year well. That was the year I pitched. We was stacking medals. They was like, this one goes to the Beard. This one goes to Awthentik. This one goes to the Beard. Them other kids on that team was looking at us like, hey, bruh, can we get Award Young?
Well,
Frank Gorski swear he was the best player on that team, though.
I can't believe these things still fit on my neck. Most RBIs, 1998.
Waterfly. He said midlife crisis.
I feel like G Herb in that new song where he's like, "What the is that?" That's like that G Herb song. Big shout out to Waterfly for the $2 super chat. Midlife crisis. Heineke.
All right. I'm done with the Boys Club medals.
Okay,
you know I got none of that stuff over here.
I got my first ever home run ball over a fence.
Oh, I do remember that. Paint Branch. I remember that.
First home run at Paint Branch.
Mm-hmm. I remember that very well.
Over
the high
two-run
fence.
home run? Yeah. 300 feet. 7/17, 1999.
The 300 feet is a guesstimation. We didn't even have stuff like that back in the day.
most
of the home runs that we hit, you had to run around the bases fast enough before the kids got the ball back to the home plate. Most of the home runs was just crank it as far as you had to crank that soldier boy and then get to running. Look at this, Manny. Yo, first of all, I cannot believe you still have all those medals. I just can't believe you have those medals. That's just ridiculous. And secondly, you pulled out the coach's award. You pulled out the coach.
It was in there. It was in there.
I like that. I did not know the Beard was about to go down memory lane with baseball right now that quickly.
Well, I mean, there was a little bit of listen, because I have my football ones are all up here.
I got you. Yeah, I got you.
I had to, listen.
So with all that,
people.
Are you going to be able to long snap at 18 yards and kick a 35-yard field goal? Am I supposed to book it?
Book it.
Book it. We got it booked, man. I love this. I want to keep this super chat on the screen for the rest of the show. I'm going to DM Waterfly on Instagram off that one. That was great right there. He said midlife crisis.
Quarter life, baby. Quarter life. I'm about to be on that TB12.
Yeah, that new keto diet.
Man, these things ain't light on your neck, man.
Hey, real deal. Wheaton Boys and Girls Club, man. They was spending that bag to get us that good stuff. Orange peels at the halftime with Capri Suns.
These things were made in the USA, too. This ain't no...
I really want to know, how long could I keep you full screen and you talk about these medals?
I mean, I could go for a long time. Listen, look at this.
God damn.
We go back. 1992, undefeated, 7-0. Wheaton Wolverines.
Oh, yeah, y'all was garbage. Y'all didn't want it with the CYO back in the day. You know what it was. you know what it was with that league back in the day. The real talent was in the CYO.
Different brand of football. You guys were like, the SEC. We were like, the Big Ten.
Y'all was like the MEAC. Hey, but we definitely appreciate y'all, hanging out with us through that.
I don't know how that went to where it did, but I think people enjoyed it.
I think they did too. I know Waterfly definitely enjoyed that one time for sure. Cardinal Rule seems like he enjoyed that. Yo, Zach said all night, baby, all night. Yo, that's what's up. OBX Picker in the building one time. Oh, he said, did you show that Raiders helmet?
No, I didn't. I got a Raiders helmet.
He was too busy showing the medals from 1995 and them trophies from 97.
Hey, when we film our video for, the Awthentik and the Beard song and the new Awthentik album, I might have to wear these.
So we doing a music video now.
Well, I mean, dude, if we're going to do a song together, we have to do a music video for it.
I feel you.
I'm all in on this, man. I
think it's G Herbo too. I think it's.
Did I say G Herb? G Herbo? I'm not too keen on the
showing our age here.
I love that. Have you heard that song though?
I haven't heard it yet. Now I might have heard it, but I don't.
Listen,
I'm not familiar with it.
The beat cranks is G Herbo, Lil Durk, 21 Savage, and the dude whose song it is. I always butcher his name. It's like Nick Watto, Nick Cardo, Nick Cado.
Can't help
It's
you on
very
that one.
it's very drill, but the beat cranks.
That's what's up.
And like
Shout out to
they do a little
Herbo.
creative thing where it's like each one of them have their verse, right? And in their verses, they do this part of the song where the beat drops out. Field day ribbons. I don't have any of those left.
Them blue ribbons, young, them red ribbons for tug of war. This my ribbon from tug of war 1992 right here. This man, dog.
Nardo Wick. That's what his name is.
Nardo
What did I
sounded
say?
out. I don't know what you said.
I said Nick Watto. It's Nardo Wick. That's
Nardo Wick. Shout out to Zach. Still in tune with the young boys. I like that, man. I don't know if you could tell I'm trying to get out of here now.
Oh yeah, no, we're good. We're good. Washington football team, great win. New York Giants, great win. What do they do? They do this. This is what they do now, right? This is how I'm gonna be when I kick the 36-yard. What did I say? 36, 35?
36-yard field goal, I think you said. Then you backed it down to a 35. Oh, you ain't want to try to really bite that and might lose a tooth.
No, that's why I didn't try. I'm not that hot.
I'm waiting on the day, but not really where I hit my face on this microphone and end up chipping a tooth. I really am. I really am, man. But shout out to everybody that's still in the building one time, man. Y'all know what it is, man. 2.5 hours of Authentic in the beard. This was a fun show. Going down memory lane there was hilarious right there, man. Definitely appreciate that, diehard Giants fan. You know what it is, man. Giants Nation always in the building, man. Washington football team, man. One more time. Let's look at this graphic one more time before we get up out of here, man. Washington football team right now sitting in the 7th seed with what we got. 4 weeks of football left. 5 weeks of football left. This is going to be an interesting finish for the NFC East. Maybe we could get back to our claim of the best division in football if the Giants could kind of finish somewhere here, maybe just outside of the wild card race here. Maybe get in it. Who knows? Maybe 2 teams get in it. Maybe the Washington football team and the New York Giants could get into the playoffs some possible way.
Listen,
we'll see.
Do you know how crazy it would be? Excuse me. If we got 3 teams from our division in there.
Oh, that'd be wild. And I thought that it could have been the NFC West possibly.
NFC West.
But we'll see.
Right now they do. They have 3 teams in.
Right. 49ers look like they're going to be a lock for one of those wild cards, too. I'm definitely banking on
no
them being
Debo, though, for 2 weeks.
They're going to find a way. Shanahan, he that dude, bro. He finds a way every time. That team does not look good to me. Got a strong defense, though. But offensively with Garoppolo at quarterback, man, and Brandon Ayuk being your number 2, it just don't look right. But your boy Kendrick Bourne, hate to say I told him so, but I told him so.
Shout out to Authentic.
Kendrick Bourne out here balling for the New England Patriots.
2 touchdowns,
man, and I called that on Sunday that he was going to have a big game, man. I like Kendrick Bourne. He can stretch the field and looks eerily like Randy Moss in that 84, bro. He even, like, when I saw they had a graphic with him on it, I was like, is that Randy Moss? Like, he looks just like Randy Moss in the helmet, man. He wears that similar style face mask, too. But shout out to Kendrick Bourne. Your boy Mac Jones definitely needs a solid wide receiver over there. It looks like Kendrick Bourne could be it.
Dylan Johnson, Thursday night, 7:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Pull up.
Authentic in the Beard.
Preview show.
We will have official answers for that question.
I think I'll give you a little hint at what I'm thinking. I think he's going to look serviceable.
Does Daniel Jones? So that means, is Daniel Jones serviceable?
I didn't want to get into a whole conversation. Serviceable. That's the word. Serviceable. I think he will look serviceable, and we could probably sneak out with a win. We will see. If Mike Glennon go out there and we put up over 25 points, I'm going to lose my mind. I'm going to say that right now. I'm going to lose my mind.
Over under Mike Glennon, 1.5 touchdowns. So that means if you pick the over, he's got to throw 2. Under is
serviceable. Serviceable. I get over under on Thursday for sure. I'm leaning towards over. Over. Gonna have a healthy Kadarius Toney hopefully on the field with him out there. Practice all week with the ones. They were on a short week last week. We got our new offensive coordinator in Freddie Kitchens. You never know. But I'm sure he's looking at this situation like, man, what did I do, God? Because he got thrusted in with a short week with Daniel Jones, and now you're going to be thrusted in there with Mike Glennon at quarterback. This is going to be tough. We'll see. Mike Glennon can throw the ball.
Monique wants to know if we can show the remaining games for all 4 teams.
Oh, yeah, for sure. We could definitely do that before we get up out of here. All right, so we'll start with your Dallas Cowboys, Monique. So the Cowboys now, they got the Saints coming up here on Thursday night, and then you got Washington, New York, Washington, the Cardinals, and the Philadelphia Eagles. They got a good bit of wins over there, I think. I think they're going to get at least 2-3 wins. I give them 3 wins out of that. Then we'll go to the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Cowboys are sitting at what right now? 7-3?
7-4.
7-4.
I give them 2 wins out of that.
2 wins out of the next 6.
Yeah.
See, now I know why BB Jones don't mess with you. I know why. The Philadelphia Eagles now are going to have the Jets. Oh, so they got the Jets, then the bye. And then they get Washington, New York, Washington, and Dallas. I see about 2 wins there. Give them the Jets.
Wins.
They'll beat the Jets, and then maybe 3.
Us.
I might see 3 wins there. Giants are going to have the Dolphins coming up on Sunday, then the Chargers, Cowboys, Eagles, Bears, Washington. Dang, I could see a win against the Dolphins, I could see a win against the Bears, and I could see a win against the Washington football team. That last week game is going to be tough. We need a surprise win there somewhere. We're either going to have to beat the Eagles again, or we're going to have to beat the Cowboys, or we're going to have to beat the Chargers. I'm going to say the Giants got 4 wins here. I'm going to say the Giants got 4 wins.
You guys are going 8-9?
With 4 wins, yep, that'll put us at 8-9. 1 game under my prediction to start the year.
Monique says 2 to 3 wins. Listen.
2 to 3 for the Giants.
I like 3 wins.
Yeah.
3, maybe 4. I feel like we're playing spades
and we also got to think about, the quarterback not being there possibly for the rest of the season, they're saying here. Possibly.
Yeah, that's a game changer. But
so that Chargers game that I was looking at as a game that, we would have to surprise the Chargers, and maybe that could be the surprise win. That's going to be tough with Mike Glennon, for sure.
See, this is the thing, though, that I keep having to remind myself. What happens if the Giants' defense plays like the way the Giants' defense has been playing as of late?
That's where I would go with the 4 wins.
Yeah, I mean, you have two powerhouse offenses out of all those remaining games in the Chargers and the Cowboys. Outside of that, you have a defense. You have offenses that your defense, if playing the way that they're playing right now, can absolutely control. Yeah, see, I told you, it feels like I'm playing spades.
Mm-hmm. Facts. How many wins do you got?
I got 3 and a possible 1. So 3 maybe 4.
I'm right in that range of like 3 to 4, because it could totally be we end the season with 7 wins. And then lastly, your Washington football team, you guys are going to have the Raiders, tough game. Cowboys, tough game. Haven't seen you match up yet against the Eagles, so I don't know how that's going to fare, but I think that's going to be a close game. I do think it'll be a close game. The Giants should have let the Eagles know now, just run the damn ball, okay? Keep the games close, run the ball. I'll give you a split against the Eagles. I'll give you – damn. Y'all got the worst schedule. Y'all 2 games against the Cowboys? That could be 2 losses right there. At best, I think you guys split. You want to make that bet?
I got 5 wins for us in the next 6 games.
Jesus. Say it one more time with your chest.
I got 5 wins for us with the next 6 games.
Okay.
So what's that put us at? That puts us at 9.
You got the Cowboys beating y'all once and that's it? Or do you got the Raiders beating y'all?
Cowboys beating us once.
All right, so that 6 wins things could come short here by Sunday. We'll see when you guys play the Raiders.
I mean, if we lose to the Raiders, it just means we got to win out all our division games.
Yeah. You guys got the toughest road. definitely got the toughest road. Them 2 Dallas games. Is the first one at home? Week
yes.
14 is
at home.
No. Oh, yeah. Yup. It's at home. And then the next one, week 16, is at Dallas. And then the first Eagles game is at, oh, my God. Yo. Y'all have to beat the Raiders. If y'all don't beat the Raiders and then the Cowboys beat y'all and then y'all got to go on the road and play Philly and then Dallas back-to-back, that 7C's looking a little sketchy. Best of luck with that.
Big shout out to diehard Giants fan. Where are we betting bread? Big shout out to the Cardinal Rule. The beard got 5 wins and a 4.640. What's that you say, Awthentik?
He's smoking that white rock. He's smoking that brown Huckabee. He's smoking that straight Huff. Okay? You know what Huff is? It's movie marijuana. That's what Huff is.
Movie weed. We know a little bit about that.
Big facts. Zach said they got the toughest too. Yeah, I mean, that's going to be tough. Monique, I'm glad you had us bring this up because, yeah, the road to the, 1, the division winner, and then 2, possibly a wild card coming out of this situation. It's tough for all teams, I think. I think Washington's got a tough road ahead of them, though, man. Dallas Cowboys twice. You playing all divisional games to end the year, 5 in a row. That's going to be real tough. Last year,
buddy.
Last year with that 7-9 record.
We are still the NFC East champions right now.
Yeah. That's not something you want to, talk about too much.
I'm just saying, we're still the champs.
Yep.
Champs here.
Yep.
Champs here.
So with that 5 wins, y'all win the division. You sweep Dallas. If y'all were to win out, y'all would win the division.
Yeah, 100%.
No matter what happens with Dallas.
Just like I predicted in the beginning of the year.
Yeah, and we can go to those real quick before we get up out of here as well. Where them Jones at? Right here. These were our predictions at the beginning of the year. Had them at 10-7.
Which would be where we would land, right?
What y'all got? 5? Don't y'all got 5 wins now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I say we win 5 out of the last 6.
Yep.
That would put us at exactly 10-7.
That sounds fantastic, but the way you're just looking at the screen like it's going to happen is just ridiculous. And, this will be a fantastic clip when y'all go 10-7. This will be a fantastic clip, but I'm here to say it right now. And I did bet the podcast one time against Lucas and the Miami Dolphins against the Ravens, and I lost. So maybe this will help you guys out. The Washington football team is definitely not going to finish the year at 10-7. I will guarantee that. Then we'll call the podcast The Beard and Awthentik. How about that? We'll switch it up. You get your name first.
Ring, man.
The Beard and Awthentik. The Beard and that Awthentik character. The Eagles aren't going to finish 5-12 too, because that would mean they would have to lose out.
Yeah.
The Eagles got to win. They got to win against y'all. Book it, as my man Entertainer likes to say. Book it.
Listen, right. I think my records, the hardest part about my records actually coming true is going to be the Eagles because they have to lose out. But everything else looks like it's going to line up fairly accurate.
Cowboys, it would take a total disaster for the Cowboys to finish at 9-8.
What are they right now? 7-4?
7-4. Yeah.
They go 2-4 in the next 6 games. That's not that crazy.
They play y'all twice.
Yeah.
They play us.
That's 1 win for them against you guys.
Thanks. Giants Nation ain't going to like that. This false sense of confidence and this arrogance, well, I'm not feeling it. I think it's time to end the podcast.
There's no arrogance. I'm just saying, it just – I mean,
you just dogged my New York Giants in front of the whole fan base.
No, I didn't.
Well, that's a loss.
You just said the Eagles were going to beat us. And
they play y'all twice. That's not that.
And they said to book it. It said
book it. They're going to beat y'all once. It's realistic, man. We're not going to keep it. We're not going to. Come on, dog. All right, man. You've had me here too long. You've had me here too long listening to your Washington football team dreams. 10-7, not going to happen. Book it. The Eagles are going to beat y'all once. I don't want to say book it now. Maybe I'm going to renege on that book. Let's take that one back. But the Eagles are going to beat y'all once. Y'all probably going to finish around 8 wins, maybe 7 wins, something like that.
Oh, no. I can't take that bet, Waterfly. I'm sorry, bud. I'm getting married at some point.
Do it, bro. You look, you was real standing up on the pedestal just now when you was just talking. Look at him. Now he's sweating. He don't know what to do.
I can't shave my head. I'm worried. I would, right? But I'm worried that if I shave my head, it's not going to come back.
Better to know now than too late. You know what I mean?
No.
No.
It's there. I don't want to
keep every last strand until I'm out here on my Smithers, or what was my man, Mr. Burns vibes out this joint. Like, I don't care. I'm keeping it. You know, or George Jefferson. I always thought about that. Like, when I do start to go crazy bald, because up top is not looking like 1,000% fantastic right now, I can tell. But when I do go bald, I ain't doing that George Jefferson, that look. I ain't doing that where you keep the ears, you know, the 2 little ram ears. Hell no, I ain't doing that. And I looked at my dad's pictures when my dad was like 50 and 60. He still had a whole head of hair up top. So we're going to try to keep it moving with that, definitely. As long as I can keep on, I'm going to keep on trucking with that. I'm 38 now. It's looking all right. He in the chat right now. Look, I'm going to just sit back and just read the chat with y'all, because that's what we're doing.
I was just going to pull this one up really fast. You know, we're 0-4 in non-conference games. We got the Raiders coming up.
Big facts. Marjorie, you know, dropping the big stats for us one time. We appreciate that.
So that makes us what? 5-2 in NFC games? Like that. We got nothing but NFC East. We're undefeated in the division.
How many games is that? 2?
1.
Cookie Monster said, "Authentic, you ain't going ball, bro." I'm trying to plan for the future out this mug. Trying to keep that thing right.
Well, man, that was a great show, man.
I was waiting for you to get to this point here. You over here just having the most grand time right now talking about your Washington football team, looking through the chat like we not on air, just like, oh, yeah. Oh, I'm not taking that one. No. It's full, man.
Sorry.
All right, man. So, and any last words before we let the fam go for the evening? We've had him here for almost 3 hours, man. The Beard always do this to me on a Tuesday. Keep me here for 3 hours talking about memory lane and old baseball medals and trophies from 1992 out here, and football accolades and coaches awards.
Authentic's eyes just now when he said coaches awards.
This man got me out here talking about coaches awards.
I don't know how that happened. It just kind of went that way.
Oh, you had that. Why you got your trophies from 1992 on the side of your desk?
Because I took them.
No, there was a box. There was a box. There was a box on the side.
They couldn't all fit on there, so I just kept the box there.
Hey, y'all in the chat, he said like this. He said, "I think I got something over here." I thought he was gonna pull out like a signed Terry McLaurin jersey or something. He said, I think I got something over here." He pulled out a box. He pulled out a box, a 4x4 box full of old goodies. My man. My man, yo. All right, man. So, you want to leave with anything here, man? What you think?
Nah, man. Just great show, man. And it always feels good. Like, the energy is always high when the Giants and the Washington football team both win. So,
yes.
Congratulations.
How many times did that happen this year? Like once, twice, maybe one other time?
I think this might be the first time.
Oh, my
Second
God.
time. But
second time.
Yeah, so shout out to everybody who came through and checked us out on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, and the YouTubes. Shout out to everybody. Yes. Giants fans, Washington fans, Dallas fans. Shout out to Philly Notion. He was the only Philadelphia fan who showed up today. So shout out to him.
Facts. Big shout out to Philly Notion one time in the building.
Yeah, so we definitely appreciate it, man. And also, once again, big shout out to Nick DeWick, man. Congratulations, buddy. We're super proud of you, man. Keep up that good work, man. Hopefully, bright future. And, that's something that wraps it up. We're back Thursday, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will be previewing the NFC East matchups. And Dallas plays that night against the New Orleans Saints.
That's going to be a good one. Looking forward to that, man. It's going to be a solid game, man. Y'all know what it is, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure to pull up. We're going to be doing them previews, man. I'm going to come to the table with at least a good I'm going to bring a 10-piece nugget with some barbecue sauce on Thursday. So y'all make sure to tune in, man. And y'all know what it is over here, man. Everybody is fam. Nobody is a fan. Appreciate y'all pulling up, tuning in to Authentic and the Beard. You know what it is. Let's get some biceps in the chat before we get up out of here. Left side.
Strong side.
Hey, man, keep raising that bar, y'all. Keep living those dreams. One more time, too, man. Big happy birthday shout out to the homie KB, man. Kid Blue. Y'all know what it is. If you're not familiar with Kid Blue, go sub up to Kid Blue. I want to say it's Kid Blue 27 on YouTube. And happy birthday to the brother again, man. I'm going to be looking forward to checking out the Young Guns on their podcast coming up this week and seeing what they're talking about with the quarterback situation and what it looks like in New York, man. So y'all know what it is, man. Giants Nation, always in the building. We appreciate y'all, man. Be good, yo. We'll catch y'all on Thursday. Peace.